Yeah, it's funny we've had them.
Welcome to episode 65 of the SNLF podcast, sponsored by New Style Apparel, the hottest new lines for the football casual. Head off to their website, which I think is, if I remember rightly, is newstyleapparel.uk. Off the top of my head, not having had a look for it for a week or two, but there we go. We're on for a full house this evening for a change. Me, the Godfather, apparently now, according to ChatGPT, rather than the Wizard or the Headmaster or whatever, it's the Godfather. So Martin Soprano.
I think of a few other names to call you.
Yeah, I could for you as well, down in the corner wearing some rag by the looks of things again. Sort of thing I'd wash my car with normally, but there we go.
You don't wash your car?
Sorry?
You don't wash your car?
Well, no, I don't. But if you're volunteering that top, then I'll happily give it a go every week. Don't you worry. Up in the top right-hand corner is Mr. Dugout Diaries himself, Mike McCaffrey. How are you, Mike?
Yes, mate. Great to be back. Obviously missed the last one. No, I was here, wasn't I?
No, you didn't. You were here. I missed the last one.
You missed the last one. I missed the one before. Yeah, as you can tell, always busy, me. Some good stuff to talk about. Looking forward to today's guests that'll be on later. So, yeah, back. Good to be back with the boys.
So, to go in the bottom right-hand corner, the SNLF food guy, Mr. Spinks. How are you, coffee man?
I'm all right, mate. You okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Awesome.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, the Sussex stat man, Mr. Chris Pryor. How are you, sir?
Buzzing, mate. You?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm looking at the SNLF feed on Twitter at the moment, and it's not giving me that option to go live, but everything's telling me it should be live, which is really weird.
You are live.
I've got a banner here. It says Twitter is experienced, or X is experiencing issue with live streaming posts.
Yeah, that's what we've had. But if it's showing live, it's showing live. For some reason, it's just not picking up on my feed, which is very odd. So maybe I need to log out and back in again at some point. As mentioned, we have got special guests coming on this evening, which is the Lewes FC manager, Craig Pitts-Nelson. But Craig's actually coaching at the moment till about 8:45. If you're watching live, if you're listening via the podcast on Thursday, he'll be on a little bit later. So we're going to get underway this evening with the National League South and the results on Saturday. Worthing went down 1-0 at Hemel Hempstead Town. Horsham drew 0-0 at Slough Town, and Eastbourne Borough went down at Western-super-Mare by 3-1. Tuesday evening, Eastbourne Borough went down 1-0 at Chesham United, and Horsham lost 2-1 at Enfield Town. This coming Saturday, all three sides at home. Eastbourne Borough entertained Torquay United, Horsham are at home to Hemel Hempstead Town, and Worthing are at home to Slough Town. On Tuesday evening, all three sides are at home again. Eastbourne Borough host Dorking Wanderers, Horsham are at home to Ebbsfleet United, and Worthing host Torquay United. So Torquay get 2 trips to Sussex in the space of 4 or 5 days, which is fantastic.
Surely they'll stay down there, no?
Potentially they would. Just depends whether they can get enough training facilities to use. Obviously, I know Borough have got their plastic pitch, but not every side's allowing for that. And obviously, Worthing have got their plastic pitch, but not every side likes to give the away side a little bit of a bit of an early breather of the stadium and the facilities. Obviously, before we came on today on Wednesday, Eastbourne Borough dismissed Tommy Widrington and Hugo Langton with 13 games to go. The question for you three guys, and taking whichever you want, what next? What now?
Step 3.
The Eastbourne Borough circus continues, doesn't it?
It's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, so somebody actually posted up stuff. I think it was an Aldershot fan that posted Tommy with the FA trophy back in, what was it, April, May time? May. And then obviously now, with the statement from Eastbourne that he's now gone. So in less than a year, he's gone from winning the trophy at Wembley to leaving a club that's now bottom of the National League South. And obviously we had Simon on a couple of weeks ago, and he was a little bit coy about their plans for next season, but it looks very much as if they are going to go part-time next year. So do they appoint a full-time manager still, as a lot of clubs do have full-time managers, but with part-time players next year? Or do they just pop someone in until the end of the season and then go with a choice in the summer?
I'm going to jump in before anyone has a chance. I think they need to get someone in permanently now. to start building for next season. The last 2 times Eastbourne have struggled is when the manager's either been appointed late, they've recruited poorly in the summer. We saw it when Mark Beard was there a few years ago, and they struggled. They went pro very late in that closed season, which then left them with not necessarily the cream of the crop when it comes to full-time players. And there's a lot of part-time players in that sort of area. In my opinion, they need to go back to the roots. They need to have someone local to the club who, if they come in on a full-time basis, then great. If they come in on a part-time basis, then so be it. I think they need to almost mothball a little bit. No, is that the right word? Mothball a little bit? Sort of cut their losses and start building to try and get back up next season and forget about this season now. I won't deal Chris's stat, but yeah, I think they're more or less down, aren't they? So
yeah, they are now at the bottom. So what was your actual answer to the question? Do they go for a full-time manager or do they go for a part-time manager?
Part-time manager.
Okay.
Well,
go on.
No, go on. Finish.
I think they need to get someone that knows the club, loves the club, and having listened to the Down the Lane podcast, that person needs to be Brad Barry, in my opinion. Struggled with injury this year, knows the club very well, likes the club, loves the club, passionate about the club. It needs to be him.
Mike?
I sort of disagree.
Okay.
I think, look, they're 3 games that they played 33 games. What they 4 points, 4 or 5 points of safety. There's a couple of teams on 30 with 3 games in hand on them. It's looking ominous where they're going. If they are starting to talk like that, are they going part-time? Are they doing this? It looks like they've got a plan for going. I reckon they should appoint an interim manager till the end of the season. Give him or her the chance to have a stab at it. A bit like Ollie did at the Wheel for United, things like that. But I think this time they've got to look long and hard about a long-term manager. They might have to look a little bit further afield. But they need stability at that club. There seems to be a media circus around it. They've turned off the comments. Chairman's a flamboyant guy who, obviously knows what he wants, his club in there. It's his decision at the end of the day. But my idea is if they're going to go part-time, I still think they need a full-time manager, but use an interim till the end of the season to give them a chance to get out. But start looking around now at who is going to be available, because all these guys can't be poor coaches. Sometimes you have to look a bit deeper into the club, the players behind the scenes, what's going on, because those fans, they probably deserve a lot better because they've seen some good times. And a club like Eastbourne Borough needs to be in that league. But they might have to take a step back to make 2 steps back to take 1 forward, in my opinion.
Go on, Chris. Wales with the stats.
I mean, I'll start off with 1 stat. If you take 2 steps backward, then take 1 forward, you're still going backwards. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways I can look at this. I mean, under Tommy, they did do better than they did prior. You know, he got them from half a point a game up to almost 1 point a game under him. But it was weird when he came in. He was saying that actually defensively we're not that bad. We just don't score enough goals. But he turned that into keeping just 2 clean sheets, and one of them he'd been in charge for a grand sum of 2 days. It was his first game at Maidenhead. They got a clean sheet, and they've only kept 1 since. Now, as many people on this will know, I'm quite a boring individual, and I've not got many hobbies. So I've spent the last week learning how to
speak Chinese.
Simulate the seasons, the seasons that we cover, in the leagues that we cover, based on remaining fixtures and things like that. I reckon you need I reckon if you get 46 points, that's the average sort of survival rate If you get 46 points, if you get up to 50 points, that gives you a 95% chance of staying up. Now, they're on half of that, and they've not got many games. They've got 13 games left. So it's not, you know, they're looking at needing 2 points a game almost, which it just doesn't speak. You know, I said a few weeks ago I thought they were goosed, and then Gaz and I went to the Maidstone game. And to be fair, second half, they gave a great showing and were good value for the win in the end. But first half, there was nothing. And they were lucky to still be in the game, in my opinion. I said a few weeks ago they're goosed, and they're in an even worse position now because teams like Chippenham are starting to pick up points. So I think they're done for. I think there's 97.5% chance they'll go down. That's mathematical. That's not just me picking a number out of my head.
I think as well, though, Chris, when Adam Murray came in a couple of years ago, they were probably a little bit more dead and buried than they look at the moment, and managed to get out of it. There were points there when I thought there's not a chance they're going to get out of this because they're so far adrift. Granted, I think they got a little bit of help with Taunton, and who else had pitch problems that year? There was someone else who went in to share with Taunton as well. I can't remember. But there were two sides down that neck of the woods that ended up, it might actually have been Truro that ended up going and playing, I think, at Gloucester. Yeah.
I was going to say Truro, but
yeah.
I wasn't sure when they were at
the Yeah, that's
and I think maybe that might have helped them a little bit because they were playing so many games in so many days, you know, and they were having to rotate their squad as well. It maybe helped, you know, Eastbourne just that little bit. And there isn't going to be any of that this year. They're actually going to have to rely on getting the results themselves. But, you know, you guys watched them against Maidstone, wasn't it, last Tuesday? And Maidstone not having a bad season. They go and pull a result out like that, but then they can't go and follow it up. And I think that's been their problem all the way through the season of pulling out a result. You think, where did that one come from? But then they can't go and do it against someone slightly, you know, lower. No disrespect to the other sides in the south, and that's what's really costing them, not stringing results together.
Yeah, I mean, they've not won back to back all season, which is a bit damning. I mean, the Maidstone game, I will also just say Maidstone haven't won in 5. They're on a horrible run. And in fact, they levelled the score actually because just after they lost to Eastbourne Borough, they then went and lost to Chippenham as well. So that advantage was immediately scrubbed. So, yeah, I appreciate what you say about a couple of seasons ago. They managed to turn it round, but it's just... I mean, the next 2 games, they've got Torquay at home and Dorking at home. the top 2 are coming, and their home record as well is absolutely abysmal. So I think we could be reconvening next week, pushing their boat out into the middle of the lake on fire.
Just a little bit. And speaking of Dorking as well, what an absolute contrast with Worthing having beaten Dorking back in the back end of December. Haven't won a game since then. No wins in 8, which as far as I'm aware, is one of the worst runs, if not the worst run of Adam Hinchelwood's managerial career anywhere. They're 10 points off Dorking now, having played the same amount of games. And it's not just the clubs in front of them they've got to watch. There's 2 or 3 clubs coming up on the outside behind them that could nick a playoff spot in front of them at the moment.
Yeah. Well, look at Chesham. I mean, they've come from... Exactly. I mean, they went for a bit of a period of not playing many games.
I had them bottom 4.
What, the Generals? Wow.
Yeah.
Alex Horn will not be happy hearing you say that. But no, what is it? They've lost 1 in 9 now.
Yeah, absolutely great form, Chesham.
It's disappointing from Worthing's point of view. You know, they were flying. You know, ever since they battered, was Horndean 5-0? You know, and that it just seems to have gone down. Hornchurch. Gaz, you were at the Rebel Yell podcast, weren't you, this week?
Yeah, I was going to touch on that.
For people that don't know, is their own podcast.
It's a fans podcast. They're not necessarily affiliated with the club.
Okay.
Put that out there.
Key distinction.
Hinch was there. And actually, I wrote loads of notes down while he was talking.
Why don't you enlighten us on the goings on behind the scenes?
I asked my ChatGPT mate to summarise them for me, so it makes a bit of sense. because I was just typing away, which, as Chris complimented, it wasn't too bad considering I was typing and listening at the same
quite
time.
legible, actually. That's why I didn't think it was actually you.
So I'll just read out what the summary is. Hinch said the club is in unfamiliar territory in terms of the current form, and the only response is to keep working hard and leave everything on the pitch. He didn't just mean the pitch; he meant the training pitch as well. He believes the tough runs reveal characters, and there's no point in feeling sorry for yourselves. The issue isn't effort, but it's a lack of confidence with performances not turning into results. He hasn't changed his approach, but admits frustration with some in-game decisions from players. Early in the season, conceding from throws, shifted momentum, and now individual errors are costing them. He actually said there's things that are going against them. In the Dorking game, Dorking should have had a penalty in the last couple of minutes of the game. Wasn't given, but the way it looks now is that is the kind of thing that's going against them. He says easy for players to hide when things are tough, but they need to front up and graft.
Like that.
And bearing in mind, there's 3 of his players were on the panel as well.
Did he criticise any of them?
No. So he had Brad, O'Day, and obviously Bailey Smith, who's out injured. He said he stays away from socials now, but he is aware of the Hinch out shouts at the games. There are.
Is that what there are? Are there people shouting that already?
Yeah.
Results business.
Yeah, but he said he's big enough to handle it. The coaching staff are all local, feel the pressure because they care deeply about the club. Points out Truro was 7th at this stage last season, stressing the importance of focusing on the present while recognising the club's progress and readiness for the National League. He also called for a stronger links. This was a bit further on in terms of injuries and that sort of thing. He called for stronger links between Premier League clubs and non-league sides, arguing that Tops clubs should open access to medical facilities. So where we see, so the way he put it,
was he having a dig at Brighton?
Maybe.
Would you say yes or no? I mean,
Yes.
the boys there.
No, yeah, he was. Yeah,
He was. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Because you've got someone like Bailey Smith who is lucky that he has private medical cover, but not everyone has private medical cover. Obviously, we do offer the insurance through our website, but not everyone has that. So he said there should be some sort of affiliation. He said he would open up his medical facilities for teams in the county league should they need it, and he feels like it should work up. He would do the same for county players. So yeah, look, Hinch was open, honest, and he actually said, I have never in my management career, even down to being county league with Selsey, had been on a run like this. It's new territory for him.
There we go.
Well, look, one thing's for certain, he ain't hiding behind anyone.
There was 55 Worthing fans in that podcast the other day. 50 to 60 Worthing fans at that podcast.
And what was the? Were they annoyed? Were they giving him the back in? What was the flavour in the air?
Everyone, I think that was the first question asked.
Okay.
And
So that's
credit to James. James Easton, who does a lot with the Rebel Yell and that sort of thing. Credit to him. I saw him actually in Sainsbury's on Sunday, and I went, "Are you going to broach it?" Because and he just went, "Look, let's talk about the elephant in the room before we move on." And Hinch came back. I think he must have been expecting it. He did actually say the podcast came at a right time because he can broach it and he can talk to these people. Obviously, I'm assuming they're going to release it live, but release it on their platforms as well.
I think they have already.
Have they?
Yeah.
Look, yeah.
He ain't ducking the questions though, is he? He's standing there like a real gaffer should be.
Yeah.
So, look, okay, this is the worst run of my career.
Yeah.
I am the one responsible. At the end of the day, it comes down to the manager. The good, the bad times. You know, you've got to take that on the chin. He ain't going to hide it. You know, they could go at the weekend and turn over whoever they're playing 3-0. And then suddenly
they got Slough on Saturday.
And
then
they're in really good form. Really good form as well.
And they got Torquay on Tuesday.
Look, that's big 6 points that's there. And they've got to start getting out of this dip now because, I'm looking at the leagues like you're looking. You know, your Cheshams, your Maidenheads, your Daggers, Chelmsfords. You look at that, a couple more results, and then suddenly it starts getting long. Yeah. And then from me predicting them to go straight up, you know, when I was bouncing off that wave of them on a Mazza run to now looking like, oh, lads, we need to be looking over our shoulders. There's no doubt they've got the quality in that team. There's no doubt at all. I don't think. You know, things don't happen at certain points. And I love the fact that he's standing there going, yeah, this is it. This is what we're doing. This is what we're missing. Luck will change. And I'm sure it will. I hope it does.
They just got to keep working hard, leaving it all out there. I think there's been a couple of late goals. There's been a couple of decisions that might have gone their way earlier in the season, but aren't going their way now. There is a bit of luck, but
I think you make your own luck, though, Gaz.
Yeah, absolutely. And he did say like individual errors are costing them. He didn't call out any players specifically, and I wouldn't expect him to. Like that's for the changing room and the training pitch, right?
Keep it in house. Do your business in house.
Yeah, but he fronted it up like a true Millwall supporter. He was there, face on.
Is that how he follows? Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
I've got to say though, I don't think the quality of player that's come in the last 2 or 3 months has been as good as the quality that came in when he first came back. And I think whether that's contributing to some of the individual errors because those players aren't good enough to be in the National League South, that may be a part of it. And I don't know why they've gone away from what they were doing in the first couple of months, but it just seems that it's coincided with the downturn in form, going away from that really good spell of form. So, you know, whether that is a part of it, whether there's a correlation, I don't know. It's just what it looks like, you know, from me from the outside. I mean, I haven't seen him play at all this year. So I'm, you know, going off of what I can see, what other people are saying. But, you know, the fact that everyone else is picking up form, especially Dorking at the moment, Mark can't seem to lose a game, and a big win for them against Hornchurch on Tuesday evening by a 1-0 as well. You know, and even Hornchurch aren't out of it, even losing that one on Tuesday evening.
No. Just quickly while we're on it, I will shout out Mark White at Dorking. I know we do shout out later, but while we're on National League South, I dropped him a message on Monday morning. Someone I know is having a charity match at Wick Football Club in May. They're looking to get raffle prizes. I dropped him a message. I said, look, Mark, is there anything you can do to help? I thought maybe a couple of tickets. So now he's offered a whole season ticket for next season as a raffle prize. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a class bloke. Love him or hate him, he's someone that puts asses in seats. He's box office.
Yeah. And I've even found someone who's got a longer stadium ban than what he's got, but never mind.
Anyway, I just thought that needs a shout out.
Just go back to your point there that you made about new players coming in that you don't think are quite up to it.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the players that are brought in are Hinch's players? Are they Nathan's players? Are they Barry's players, George's players, Ralph's players?
Very good question. I know Nathan has a lot of influence, and you would hope that in the kind of model they've got, wherever that is, wherever in the country, wherever in the world, that, you know, the manager is the one that wants the players, the director of football goes out and signs them. That's how it should be. If it's going the opposite way round, it isn't going to work because that person's signing the players they think are good enough and should fit the system. But at the end of the day, the manager's the guy that picks a team. So he wants his best 11 players out there. And like I say, the players I saw he was bringing in when he first came back, players on loan from EFL clubs, stuff, and players like that. Now, I'm not suggesting the budget's going to be there all the time to bring those kind of players in, but there just doesn't seem to be as much quality, and it's showing in the results. You know, they're not, you know, they're losing games in the last minute. That is a mentality problem, you know, and you start conceding those, you start losing goals in the 90th, 95th minutes and whatever. That is what costs you the points that take you up at the end of the season. When you top those up at the end of the year, and they've all come in one little spell at the moment, you know, it just seems a lot of correlation to me. And, you know, you'd hope that Hinch is getting a good enough say in who comes in.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't have the sign off, mate.
I would, but you know, it wouldn't be unheard of that sort of thing to happen in clubs. You'd hope Cam, John Meaney, good backgrounds in the game. You know, Cam's top end of the National League with Hinch last year. You know, he's good at what he does, very good. And you know, the fact he's gone back there speaks volumes again. And Worthing as well as a club to be able to get Hinch back in the first place. But you've got to give the guy the ability and the tools to be able to do the job. If you only give him half of it, then you can only expect half the job at the end of the day.
I'm just potentially. I dropped in about the Down the Lane podcast. I've actually got Barry, who runs that podcast, who is free now, just to come in and talk about Eastbourne Borough and that sort of thing. I don't know if before I know.
Oh, get him on.
I sent him the link. He went, "When do you want me?" I went, "Now, if you can." So yeah, he's going to pop in, and it'd be good to chat to him. I appreciate we're tight against it, but there wasn't much football over the weekend. So
while we wait for him,
there was plenty of football over the weekend. Loads more than the weekend before. Even had Tuesday night games that I had to worry about last night, tapping away at half time while I was sitting in Barnet.
Even I made a Tuesday night game, mate. And I
know. It's impressive. It
was.
While we wait for a second Eastbourne representative, just some stats to back up some of the wording points we were just making. They've kept 1 clean sheet in 9, which is a bloody concern in a league like that where goals are at a bit of a premium. That's a concern. They've only scored 5 in 6. They've only scored 2 in 4. So it's at both ends they're having problems. And how can I put this? I mean, in 2026, they've got the same number of points as Eastbourne Borough. And also Farnborough, which is more concerning because Farnborough they've got 3 games. They've played 3 games more than Farnborough. Farnborough is struggling. And where they've got the same number of points. So it's...
Here he is.
Hi, guys.
You all right?
Yeah, bit of a whirlwind day.
It's always a whirlwind day at Eastbourne Borough. What are you on about?
I know. Tell me about it. Do
you want to talk us just a little bit? Obviously, we've been through Eastbourne and the National League South a couple of minutes ago and that. But talk us through your bit from today. I mean, obviously, the defeat at Chesham on Tuesday, was it something you thought might happen today, or you thought you might be given a little bit more time to the end of the season, or what? How did you see it playing out?
I suppose if I'm honest, and you've got to be when you. I think it was coming. For me, I think that I was a massive advocate that when Tommy came in, he was the right man for the job, and but I think he was a different man to what he was before. And I know a lot of people say you should never go back because it doesn't work, and he was just a different manager for me, and I think last night at Chesham, I mean, we got beat 1-0, and Chesham are a funny side. They played a dark arts. They played a time-wasting game from minute 1, and it was difficult. Going down to 10 men made it even more difficult. But we had a couple of chances before that. We could have probably gone 1 up, but we didn't. And I think for the last half an hour, probably most of the second half, I don't think Tommy got out the dugout once. And at the end of the game, I was stood over the other side. The players came around and obviously clapped the fans. There wasn't many there last night. And Tommy and Hugo just sat in the dugout. So I think, I'm not sure if they knew it was coming or if they expected it to come, but, I definitely think there was, there was something there. And probably, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, and probably the right timing, really. I mean, we've got to look at, I know on here you've relegated us sort of 2 or 3 times. We've just been interviewing Mark. We've just been interviewing Mark White, and Mark White said, look, get a couple of wins in your next 2 games. And I'm like, you don't want us to win the next 2 games, mate, because one of them's against you. But yeah, I mean, what a baptism of fire for whoever takes control. I mean, if Robbie takes over until the end of the season, then you're playing the top 2 in the league. So at the end of the day, it's you've got a free shot, really. But I think that some of the players for me were playing with a little bit of a cloud over their head. We've signed some very good players. I know they're Tommy players, and he's brought in probably 8 or 9 now. And I know from the club, I mean, a lot of people at the club, a lot of people said that, the players we've got are not good enough, but, they've literally spared no expense. They have raised the budget. I think they realise that relegation isn't going to be good. But yeah, it's one of them that, you know, you've got to keep battling until there's no battles to have anymore, you know.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I was just saying to the guys earlier as well, I mean, Chris and Gaz were at the game last week against Maidstone. It seemed all season that you've pulled a result out like that, but then just haven't been able to back it up, you know, the week after. And, you know, we've said a few times as well, you put two results together and you've caught the people above you, but you get the one and then you don't get the second.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a lack of confidence thing. I mean, you know, there's been a lot going on at the club today. I mean, the Facebook forums have been shut down tonight. Apparently, Facebook have shut it down for 59 days, which is to the end of the season. But, you know, I don't know. Listen, I don't know if the players look at it. I'm sure they probably do. I think I would if I was a player. And there was a lot of criticism. I didn't go on Saturday, but there was a lot of criticism about the fact that West End had, you know, 6 yellow cards and we had none. And, you know, it was like we weren't winning duels and we weren't going in for tackles and stuff like that. And it was like the players had given up. And then last night we go and get silly yellow cards and you know, and one gets 2 of them and gets sent off. And, you know, I mean, listen, we've all been about football for a while, right? You know, there's good yellow cards and there's bad yellow cards.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't know if someone gets a yellow card because he's gone in strong on a challenge and he's trying to win the ball, I don't mind him getting that yellow card. But when you've let a player go by you and then you grab their shirt and pull them back, that's a stupid yellow card for me, especially when you're in the situation we're in. And that's what happened last night. So, you know, look, we've got to keep looking on. Again, you know, I don't know who they'll bring in, whether they'll try and get a name, you know, someone who can inspire a bit of confidence, or whether Robbie will, you know, Robbie's obviously left at the club. Obviously Hugo's gone today as well. So yeah, I don't know. I suppose we'll find out in the next sort of, you know, next couple of days, I suppose. But
Barry, can I ask a question? Mike McCaffrey. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
You started the season with statistically the youngest squad out and about there. Okay.
Yeah.
We looked at it. Statman looks at it. You know, there's a saying in the game: "Good enough, you're old enough." Did you look at that pre-season and think maybe we're missing a bit of experience here? Maybe we're missing a little bit of leadership. But then, obviously, you didn't get off to the greatest starts, and then it's hard to get those younger players to, as you say, you didn't get any bookings the other night. You're expecting a few people to go through people, you know, take the booking, make it happen. Did you see that at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, you know, it was very much Marmite at the club. You know, a lot of people wanted the young players, and, you know, I'm a little bit older and wiser. I mean, I've been watching Borough for a long time, and I've watched players like, you know, your Ben Austins, your Matty Crabs, and players like that, you know, that came from the county league, and they ended up playing in the Conference National. I'm sure if you got all them players together and said to them, look, were you actually ever Conference National standard? The answer would be no, because they weren't. But because they played together for so long as a team, and Gary done such a good job about just dragging the ones in here and there, you know, getting players like Ashley Barnes on loan, you know, that. And I think to try and build a complete new squad like we did this year with a lot of youngsters was for me, it was dangerous, and it's proved so. I don't think that. I think that there were players that were offered to Matt Gray that he didn't want, and I'm not sure why, because I don't understand why. You know, his first signing was Craig Eastman, who, you know, on the 3G was probably only going to play once a week. I mean, to be fair, since Matt went, he's been outstanding, and I think he's been one of our better players this season, if not the better player. And yeah, I just think that, you know, when you've got a player like Craig, he can mentor somebody. You know, you got Arthur Grout playing next to him. When Craig and Arthur play together, you know, when young Grout, he looks like a 25-year-old. He play, you know, he's got 5 or 6, 7 man of the match awards. And, you know, certain people at the club will say, oh, he's only getting them because they want to sell him on. They want to do another Fletcher, you know, and stuff like that. They want to make a few quid. But I don't think it's all about that. I think it's the fact that you've got someone by you who knows the game, you know. And you know, I go and watch the under-18s and stuff like that, and there's a couple of players in our under-18s that I look at and I think you are going to make a football player because they've got that experience at a young age, and if you're lucky, you'll get a load of young players who have got that. You know, one of them, I look at him and I think he's another Declan Rice, you know, because he's always scanning the pitch and he knows where someone is all the time. And the ball will come to him and he doesn't need to look. He just plays the ball off and he's playing it to one of his teammates. And I think, you know, it's whether you've got a football brain. And I think a lot of these youngsters have got, you know, they're good footballers.
Yeah,
but it's about having a football brain, and that football brain comes with experience. So yeah, I think it was very dangerous. It's proved so. I would have liked to have seen, more experienced players coming in at the start of the season, but obviously that didn't happen. And you know, we can't look backwards. We've got to look forwards, haven't we? We've got 13 games to go, and probably need to win 7 or 8.
So Barry, you made a really good point. It's been a whirlwind day. Comments have been turned off. Groups have been shut down. These youngsters, they all watch these forums. They all look at them. They might not say they do. They do. It's going to affect them mentally. They don't want to be seeing, you know, he's crap, he's shit, he shouldn't be playing, he's not good enough, and that, you know. Where do you go from here? Because, you know, we had your owner on, who's a flamboyant guy, successful guy. It's his decision. Where does the club go from here if, and it's looking, unfortunately, it's looking likely, you do go down?
So, I mean, you know, I've made no bones about it. I was there when we first got into the National South. I didn't get to the playoff that first year when we didn't go up, but 2 years later, you know, it was us and Lewis at the top of the league, and I watched and I was there when we went up, and we've been a part of that National League setup since it was formed in 2004. And I'll make no bones about it. I've said today to both Simon and Alan, you know, look, relegation for me is a failure. I think it's how you deal with that failure. And so, you know, people need to learn. You know, listen, we all make mistakes in life. The mark of a man for me is how you deal with them mistakes, how you learn from them mistakes, and how you don't do them again. Because if something's going to hurt you, you know, because you've made a mistake, then just don't do it again. Just, you know, next time forward, take a different path. You know, a fool is a man that keeps on doing the same thing over and over again that isn't working, right? Because if it isn't working, you know, sort yourself out. So, yeah, literally, I don't know where we go from here. I think if we go down, which I expect, and I think that's why I'd kind of like, you know, if they're going to let Robbie have a go until the end of the season, I'd like them to say to him, right, you've got the gig for next year as well. Because I think we proved in the year that Adam came in, our first year where we was suffering with relegation, Adam kind of built his side before the end of the season. It's a trait, I've said it earlier, about players that weren't conference players, but they played together and they'd risen through the, you know, because you didn't need a pre-season. The pre-season was your whole season before that and the season before that. You know, they knew how each other played. And I think, you know, in any league, whatever league you're in, and we know that the Isthmian is going to be a hard league to get out of, right? 2 teams have done it since 2004. 2 teams have bounced straight back up.
Wow.
That's difficult. And one won the league, and one was Dover, who came up last year in the playoffs. So, you know, you've got to look at it and say it's not going to be easy. And there's already probably 6, 7, 8 teams in that league. When I look at it, that I think you're big enough to go into the Conference South, and you can't get out of that league. So how are we going to get out of that league? You know, and there's going to be a lot of investment at the club this year. I think we have to lay a new pitch. So there's going to be investment there. It's a difficult time, and you know, listen, I take my hat off to Simon in the fact that he put his money where his mouth is. You know,
he did.
He bought the club. Depends who you listen to. One says that he saved it. One says that actually it made a profit the year before. But listen, that's do you know what I mean? I don't want to know about that. All I want to do is, and I don't care if we lose and go down. I honestly don't care. I do care. Going down will be a failure. But if we go down, but we put in 100% every single week, you know, I'll take it, because something isn't right. You know, I put the effort in to go home and away. I've missed one game this season, which was Western on Saturday. I think actually I've missed two. But you know, I've travelled midweek nights, you know, and I'll be there, and I put the effort in to go. And then sometimes when you go and you see that the players aren't putting that effort in, you know, or certain players aren't putting the effort in, that's when I think people get the ump.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we've moved into a massively different world now. You know, I'm an old dinosaur now, you know, so it wasn't like if I wanted to have a pop at someone when I was young, when I was 15, 16, I went round and knocked on their door, or we met at the school gates or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Now they do it all online. And I think that us oldies, we need to learn that this is how the youngsters do communicate with each other. And we have to understand that actually they might not be having a pop, even though it looks like they are. Maybe they're not. And like you say, the youngsters do look at it, the younger players. It's not nice for them to look at, but you know, people have got a right to have an opinion, right? So it's difficult on that. It's a very fine line, isn't it, between too much or too little.
Well, Barry, cheers for answering my questions, mate. You obviously doing great things at your club, and have been for many years. So keep doing it, pal. Keep the head up. And
yeah, well, hopefully we'll avoid it this year, but we'll see.
And Barry, as I said to you earlier, the circus continues.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the news, I certainly didn't expect to be sitting here 8.5 hours later with a Facebook group shut down, and you know, people. Oh yeah, I mean, we've got group chats, and it's just going mad in there. I'm glad I was doing a podcast tonight. I haven't had to look at it for an hour and a half.
I spoke on the phone earlier for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I heard your phone going absolutely nuts.
Mate,
it was a message come through.
And the problem is as well, because people sort of, you know, we do the podcast, you know, and people now come up to me, and you know, I get people at the ground saying, "Oh, I'm loving your podcast" and stuff like that. So they automatically think that I'm like an ITK, right? So I know everything that's going on at the club. So as soon as Tommy's gone, they're ringing me up. Yeah, who's the next gaffer then? I'm like, if I knew, I'd be, you know, I'll be having a bet on it, right? You know, yeah. So yeah, I ain't got a clue, but we can hope.
Perfect. Cheers, Barry. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for having me on, guys, and keep up the good work.
Cheers, Barry, mate.
You too, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers. Take care.
Tell you what, it's refreshing, isn't it, to see someone like Barry, who obviously gives a massive shit about his club, home and away, going midweek, all that lot, going through all this stuff of doing the podcasts and that. It can drain you, man. It can really drain you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can empathise from the point of doing it when Man City were crap and we would do it nationwide, you know, go see us get thumped. He's been to Torquay this year and seen them get thumped. Like from Eastbourne, that's a right old schlep. So no, massive respect to him. I might not like the football club, but I can always respect a fan who's going to those lengths to do it.
Absolutely. Right. Let's get into the Isthmian Premier Division and hopefully get through the results before Craig arrives. On Saturday, Chester City went down 1-0 at Billericay Town. Lewis went down 6-1 at home to Aveley, and Whitehawk beat Burgess Hill Town by 3-1. On Tuesday evening, Chichester picked up a 2-2 draw at Aveley. This coming weekend, Whitehawk head to Brentwood Town. Burgess Hill Town are at home to Wingate and Finchley. Lewis head to Cheshunt, and Chester City are at home to Canvey. And then on Tuesday evening, Lewis head to Whitehawk. And speaking of Whitehawk, 7 unbeaten at the moment, a very impressive 3-1 win against Burgess Hill Town on Saturday.
Yeah, doing bits, aren't they? Really are doing bits. I mean, 7 unbeaten's a good run. Fixtures have been kind, and the next few might not be. So let's celebrate what they've done while they're on this run. Because coming up they've got Brentwood away, then Lewes, then they've got back-to-back with Chatham. And then Averley, just for fun. So that's not a fun. That is not a fun looking fixture list. But fair play, 7 unbeaten's some record.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, they've still got a few games in hand there. So if they do win those, again, beating Burgess Hill was crucial, I think, on Saturday, because it actually lifts them above the Hillians, and they're actually looking up towards those playoffs rather than back towards them over their shoulder where the relegation zone is at the moment.
Yeah, no, they're definitely nearer to the playoffs. Like you said, they've got games in hand. They're just behind Burgess Hill, but they have got 3 games in hand and a better goal difference as well. So, they're not out of the playoff shout. I mean, I
was just looking at that. If they win those games down, it's close, isn't
it? Yeah.
It is.
I mean, the thing is, they do have to win them, as we've said, and they're running after the next few isn't too favourable. But when you're on a run and you're unbeaten, as it showed with Worthing earlier in the season, results just come, and it breeds the confidence. And I'm sure when Pitts comes on, he'll show, having with them played 3 of the best sides out their last 3 games. Has really sort of shown up, how the division is as well. But just on actually the point that Barry was making, with this division, I was actually reading the piece he was on about that said about the clubs that have come down from the south that go back up again. And it is tough because I think so many of them, when they come down, everyone does see it as a cup final. Everyone sees them as a big scalp. And you've got so many clubs, though, that have come up the opposite way, that are so ambitious and are keen to get into that National League South as well, that you marry the two together and they don't fuse very well. And it does actually really surprise and shock quite a few of the clubs that come down.
Yeah.
Massively. Yeah.
Trev, quick one for you then. You know these leagues a lot better than me. Take Folkestone out of it.
Yep.
Out of the chasing pack.
Yep.
Who would you feel long term is best suited to going up? Infrastructure, the whole lot.
Probably what's in the playoff zone at the moment, I'd say Chatham, because they've got the infrastructure, their ground they've built up really nicely. They get a good average attendance as well. I think of around about 1,200. They're as full time as they can be. Yeah, at that level. Kevin Hake owns the club, manages it as well. I would say out of the club.
He owner manager, is he?
Yeah, owner manager. Yeah. He's another top white. But I've never met him. Only seen of him. I've been to Chatham. I've been to a few into his room, and he's quite a nice guy. I mean, in terms of what you've got in that division, you would say Dulwich are the club that really should be in the National League South with the infrastructure they've got, the support they get. Regardless of whether people are there sipping their beers rather than talking, actually watching the game and whatnot. They're getting 2,000 people in the game.
Drinking their IPAs,
drinking IPAs, their craft ales, whatever it is, or their Prosecco's by the halfway line, as it goes. And they have got their planning permission in for their new ground as well. So that would actually, help them even further, because you could build something even slightly bigger than what you've got. But you've then got your clubs like Burgess Hill and Ramsgate. Yeah, who are sitting up there in the top 10 that are challenging the status quo. You've got underneath them, you've got Three Bridges look like they're going to come up. You've got Faversham, who are well supported and doing well in the players. You've got AFC Whiteleaf, you've got AFC Croydon. You've got clubs there again that will push and challenge those that have come down from the National League South, which is why it's just so difficult to go straight back up again, because you're clashing against clubs that you're coming on a down. I'm looking at the 3 clubs last year. You had Welling, Averley and St Albans. Welling have been a car crash club for years. And no surprise they finally went down. Averley are a small club that punch above their weight, and time ran out for them last year, but they've rebuilt again this year. St Albans were probably unlucky to go down, but need this year to reset themselves under a new manager and then go again next year. And you take those 3, Averley are doing the best, which is maybe slightly surprising, but having seen them play absolutely brilliant, put their squad together really well. But it just shows how difficult it is. I mean, Welling are sitting bottom of the table, I think, at the moment. And Ron Max has got a real job in his hands to keep him in that division. Although they're not out of touch with the clubs above them, they could be playing, they could double dip, be in step 4 next year. and head into Eastbourne Town. You know,
And nobody wants to do that.
Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. You know, but excuse me, sometimes, you know, that's how it is. And I think, you know, I find it quite refreshing when those clubs come up, because you're not talking about the same names all the time as well. And you look at the top end of the National League South. Not many teams would have Chesham up there. Even I know Maidenhead went down. They're not massive in terms of some of the clubs you've got in that division. Similar with Hornchurch and Hemel, but they're challenging and they're asking questions of the other clubs. If the other clubs are shrugging their shoulders, haven't got the answers, you know, what can you do? But take their place.
But I mean, just look at the other end of the country as well. And obviously, I'm a bit more well versed in that one. The amount of teams who've been stuck in National League North for quite a long time, and they're, you know, very storied Football League clubs. Stockport County were down there for years.
Yeah,
you know,
York.
Yeah, and York. Both teams I've seen Man City lose against. But the point being, you know, that, you know, they stayed down there, and Stockport County are now, you know, trying to get back into the Championship. But they were in the National League North for years, absolutely years. It can be really tricky if you're not the right setup and the right mentality. You can get mired down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he's very difficult to get back. Right, pitch is going to be about 5 minutes, so we'll whiz into the Isthmian South East, and we'll crack the results through there, and then come to Craig when he's on. So on Saturday, Eastbourne Town went down 3-1 to AFC Croydon Athletic. East Grinstead Town lost 7-0 Ashford United. Mike sacking territory there on the verge of. Hassocks picked up a very good 3-0 win over Erith Town. Hastings and Mersham shared a 0-0 draw. Broadbridge Heath won 2-1 at Sheppey United. Three Bridges beat Herne Bay by 2-0. And BCD Athletic drew 2-2 with Crowborough Athletic. On Monday evening, the Velocity Cup, Crowborough Athletic bowed out 3-1 at Redbridge. And in the league, we had a pair of sevens. East Grinstead Town conceding 7 again, this time to Erith Town, which didn't do Hassocks many favours. And Broadbridge Heath, after going in front against Sittingbourne, also let in 7. So we had a pair of 7-1s. This coming Saturday, Broadbridge Heath host Hassocks, Three Bridges head to Crowborough Athletic, Deal Town host Hastings United, East Grinstead Town at home to Sheppey United, Eastbourne Town at home to AFC Whiteleaf. Then on Tuesday evening, East Grinstead Town host AFC Whiteleaf at 7:30. Hastings United are at home to Three Bridges, and Sittingbourne are at home to Crowborough Athletic. Mike, there's a few teams there who are very close to your territory, aren't there?
Some multiple times.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I feel a bit sorry for Hassocks.
Massively.
Win their last two, you know, and everyone around them, bar Erith that they beat 3-0. But bar that, you know, it seems they get a bit of form, and everyone around them seems to win, you know. And I'm looking at it. I'm looking at Hastings as well.
They've been dragged into it, haven't they?
They have been dragged into it. Finally, I was speaking to Billy Wood, who's obviously involved with the club as a sort of director of football type thing, and he said, you know, they need to start getting some wins on the board. I think it's like 5 or 6 without a win.
5.
Is it 5? Is it? Yeah, you know, it is tight down there. But
it's tight. I think, Hassocks, I feel so bad for them after what, you know, a really good win away at Sheppey, a massive win.
That 3-0 win against Erith, you know.
You can't overstate how important that could have been. But then, but then for Erith to then...
They raised it, did everything, and then everyone else starts winning.
Well, I don't know about everyone else, but Erith putting 7, you know, the goal difference swinging up in there is massive. Like, it means now that Erith have a, you know, 5-goal advantage on Hassocks in terms of goal difference, which obviously they didn't have going into Tuesday.
And 2 points in the game.
Yeah, so that's a kicker. I mean, Hassocks do still have VCD and Beckenham to come at the Beacon, and they're now pointing upwards, you know, momentum wise, which they haven't been for ages. So they can still take confidence in that massively, and they've still got games enough that it's in their hands. But yeah, that last night must have felt like a right kick in the knackers for them.
Absolutely. Right. We'll come back to the Isthmian South East Division because our special guest has arrived this evening. I've been trying to get this guy on for such a long time, and he even disappeared to a different county. But now he's come back again. So delighted to have on this evening the Lewes first team manager, Craig Nelson. Pitts, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate, and thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. I tried to get you on a couple of times last year, but obviously you do a fair bit of coaching as well in the evening, so obviously it's a little bit difficult. But here we are, and a second spell at Lewes. But obviously I know you from your time at Glebe, you know, up there where you did some really great work there, which obviously got you a move down into Lewes. And then you've been up to step 2 and you've come back again. So why come back to Lewes is a question.
Yeah, I think timing and the gods are, I would say, the reason. Unfortunately, my time at Tunbridge didn't go as well as we'd planned, or the board there thought that they needed to go down a different route. So that ended up happening. And then unfortunately for Lewes at the time, they were on I think a 10-game run where they hadn't won a game. And they decided to part ways with the manager there, who is actually a friend of mine as well, so the timing of that happened at the time I was available. And then I got the phone call to ask him would I come back. I love my time there. It's an amazing place with some amazing people. So I didn't really think about it too much, other than the fact that it was a friend there. I had to make sure that he was okay prior to accepting it. He gave me the blessing to go back. So I went back in. Yeah. Bit surreal.
Yeah. And we've probably picked the worst time actually to have you on, because you've come up against the 3 sides in the best form in the Isthmian League Premier at the moment, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. And we, unfortunately, without making excuses, because I don't think we deserve to win either of those games, regardless of how it went. But it's come at a time where we've got so much injuries. There was 1 week we had no recognised forwards in the team. And then this week we've had 2 injuries at centre-back, and then 1 just before the game, where we're having to put a left-back, centre-half, and a centre-mid left-back. It was not the greatest preparation to going into both of those games. But I think against Folkestone for 65 minutes, we were actually largely on top and doing really, really well, and should have probably gone 2 up before they even get a chance. But this Saturday against Averley, we just weren't at the races from minute 1. Even though we did go 1-0 up with a great finish from Devontae, we wasn't ourselves. People were making too many mistakes, and then we got punished for it. But again, all of their goals, as much as we did concede, there wasn't anything in there that they carved us open. It was chances that I feel we could have done a lot better for. But it's back to the drawing board to make sure that we can pick up the points against the teams that are in and around us over the next couple of games, and then hopefully finish in a position as high up the table as we possibly can.
Chris?
Yeah, no, I was at that Lewes versus Folkestone game because it was the only game within about a 30-mile radius that was on. But,
yeah.
So it was, and no, I completely agree with you. And I spoke to Will at half-time, Will Hugel, and I said we were both like, how Lewes aren't ahead in this? You know, it could even be 2-3. Like, he played some really good stuff first half. And it was just the fact that, 5-0 on the face of it looks awful. And like you said, though, first 65 minutes, it was 1-0, and you were still in with a shot. And this is against a side who are likely going to break the 100-point mark this season.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed. And I know them really well down there. And it just shows the difference in quality, right? Because I feel we limited them early on to next to nothing, but then the chances they do get, they hit the back of the net. And that's the difference. That was the difference on the day. And then for me, in my perspective, as soon as it went 2-0, it didn't look like we were going to get back into that game. I feel the boys were deflated, maybe for all the efforts. And then we just fell off a cliff at the back end of that. So it's trying to ensure that in those moments we don't, because again, losing 2-0 to the league leaders that are flying would be respectable. I think it gets a little bit embarrassing when the scoreline goes the way it does. And for those that aren't there, just see the score, right? And it was a flurry of goals, similar to Averley, actually. When they get the third one, it goes 4-5 within quick succession. And then it starts to ask questions about the unit that people wouldn't have asked if it was 2-1 or 2-0 per se. But with the injuries, we've had a good training session yesterday, and we've set down some markers and relayed what the standards look like and what they're meant to look like for the club, because they're not just stepping out on the pitch and doing it for themselves, and it's making sure that they understand the wider context of things. And we want to be looking up the table. If we don't pull a next couple of games, if we don't pull out wins in the next couple of games, then you get dragged into what's happening beneath us. And the boys have said, for credit to them, they've come to us and said that they don't want to be part of that. So it's now around standing up and being counted over the next 3 games that we want to go in and win.
The Drip and Pancrate, great place to go and watch a game of football, and obviously it's a carpet of a pitch, as well. And I mean, you guys average 784 at the moment, which is the best of the 4 clubs, in the division as well. So that make it a little bit of an easier sell as well when you're trying to get players in with the facility, and obviously you've got a good crowd in.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I stopped playing ages ago, but every time I turn up there, I'm like, oh, I wish I was playing. So it's an unbelievable place, and the atmosphere, scoring there and winning there, the feeling and the aura that you get from it is unbelievable. And it was one of the pulls of going back. Going somewhere else whilst being loved at a club feels different, and it did feel different when I moved to Tunbridge. But coming back, there is such a vibrant feeling in that place when you've got so many people in it. And last year we breached 1,000 quite a few times. So we want to try and make sure that we might not do it again this season, but with a clean slate next year and what we're planning on having there and available, and want the type of football we want to play and the players we want to attract, we want to get that place booming. Because for me, being in it and looking at what's happening, it's a sleeping giant. And if we get the football right, I really do believe that it will be one hell of a club. It is already, but we can take it to another height. It might take a few years to do so, but I generally feel that it's one that deserves a little bit more. And if we can get it right there, it could all. A lot of people internally, like the Dulwich of Sussex, that feeling is, we've got hardcore fans in there that want to make noise and want to bring the club up to where it should be and where they remember it being. And we want to try to make sure we can go and emulate some of that over the next couple of years for sure.
I think the fact you got such a good gate against Folkestone, because it was nearly 1,000 there, you're only 11 off 1,000.
Yeah.
Now, what I just said about there not being a lot of games on, granted, that will have helped.
Yeah.
But the fact that so many people are willing to converge on Lewis, not a lot of other teams probably in the country really, but certainly in Sussex, have that sort of pull where people will just converge there because they know it's a great place to go and watch a game.
Yeah, no, agreed. And again, from memory, last year when we played Whitehawk, I know we got lucky and it was a bank holiday Monday. I'm sure it was like 1,800. And we did it a couple of times that year. I'm sure we hit 12 and 13 a couple of times as well. It's an unbelievable place when the place is like that, especially if it goes in our favor as well. They don't stop cheering, they don't stop chanting, and then the feeling and the atmosphere after for the players is unbelievable. So I always call it a goal scorer's dream, because if we could get a goal scorer there that wants to come in and put the ball in the back of the net like Danny did last year, that's the reason why he's back. That feeling that he emulated, he was like, I haven't felt that before. And it becomes addictive. So yeah, we definitely want to try to make sure next year and for the remainder of this year that we make it as loud as possible for the fans that are there. They deserve it.
Mike.
It's Mike McCaffrey. How you doing, pal?
Hello, mate. All good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, really good. Pitts, you're in a unique position. You know, the fans love you. They're great to have you back. There's a great buzz online for you personally, especially the stuff you've done previously. But you've come into a club that is a community-run club. Yeah. Instead of somebody like Eastbourne Borough, they've got their own, owner with cash. Yeah. How different is it to work within a club that is community-run, where you've got thousands of members that own little parts of the club? Yeah. Decisions on what you want, what your team want. How does it happen? Yeah, it's a really good question. And you know what? I think that was one of the things that pulled me to the club in the first place.
It's when you're outside and you see all of the things that they're doing, it's like, oh, okay, that's really good. How does it work? And then when you get in it, you see how much people are intertwined into every little piece of the community, which is unreal. And then how we want to emulate that further is what hooked me in the first place. So making sure that the community has a voice within the club is really important. If you was to come down after our training sessions on a Tuesday, you will see the vets playing there, and the foundation on the 4G and stuff. Like, they're really doing so much, and youth teams from all ages all the way through, right? That is the beauty of it. And I feel like it's good that people have a direct voice, because I think that's what makes non-league a special place. And to have a tangible bit of something all across the world, let alone the country, allows us. And I kid you not, I was on my coaching courses in Wales, and when people said, "Oh, who do you manage?" and I told them, everyone knew who it was.
Yeah.
Where I was on my recent badges at Tunbridge, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not sure." They weren't too sure, even though they played in a higher step, right? So the reach of the club makes you feel part of something, regardless of where you are. And I feel that is really special. And then you add the women's side to that, and how big they were, and what they were able to do, and how they've competed at that level. It makes it a really special place to be in. So yeah, I don't know if I've answered your question directly, but
no, you have.
Belonging, yeah, it gives you a sense of belonging, and I feel there's loads more that we could be doing that I feel in the years to come we'll try and make sure that we do.
I mean, because it was incredible. You got national exposure back in 2017.
Yeah,
they were calling you Equality FC.
Yeah,
you know, your women were getting paid the same as your men, or so here at the time. You were getting sponsorship deals with Lyland Scott, people like that. You know, these are stuff. Your Worthings, your Horshams, they don't get. You know, it's just a unique situation.
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant for the game. You know, it's extremely unique, which gets people talking. It's obviously working from a fan's view. There. My final question to you is, because that was one of the last grounds that I played at. When I was there. How's the food these days? Because when I was there, the food was on point after match. Is it still good?
It's still decent. Yeah, it's still decent. It depends what your flavor is, but you got it all. You got the pies, you got the after food games are decent as well. They switch it up, which is nice. You're not gonna come and get the same thing every week. But yeah, it does really well. The only complaint I hear from fans around the food and that is the lines for it. So it must be good, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wish you every success, buddy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I really do.
Keep doing your stuff.
Pits, tell them what's the pizza place called?
Oh, what is it called? I can't actually remember, because it weren't there when I was there last year.
It's Pansero.
Is it called? Is that what it's called?
Genuinely called Pansero.
That's decent. I've been told off for calling the actual dripping pan the Pansero. One of the fans told me, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But then there's loads of others that like, don't call it that. So fair play.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of my questions have been asked now, but I'll do a few quick fire ones. Actually, we'll start with more in depth. What makes someone a Pits player? What makes someone?
That is a great question. Do you know what I like? Am I allowed to swear, or am I not?
Yeah.
Oh, you can swear on this one, mate. We all do.
All right, just checking. My first one is no dickheads. Yeah, no dickheads, because I feel my job is to try and make better humans if I can, right, and be part of that guiding journey for wherever they want to go, both in and out of football. And I take an active interest in what they do outside of football to see if I can help them as well, right? So I think that first, trying to be the best version of yourself, or even if you're not there yet, but you want to be, that is where it needs to start. And we do things like last year we clubbed together to get one of the young boys his driving lessons. But now he can drive. He's going to be able to travel all over the country to do whatever he wants. Do you know what I mean? And those things, for me, are way more important than how well he plays for 38 weeks of the season. So I'd start there. And then I look at technical acumen. So they need to be technically sound, ideally, because we want to play football on the floor most often. And then their knowledge or their will to learn is really important. Sometimes you only find that out when you've got them in the room, because I don't believe everyone has had the coaching, and I'm not saying from me in particular, but in non-league, sometimes the layers of coaching that players have received prior are not where they need to be. So it does become a learning environment for them. So they need to be willing to learn. And then it's just about execution, holding yourself to the highest regard. We have like 5 things that every player needs to come in and bring. So like availability is really important, because you'd be so surprised how many people want to get better but can only give you 2 days a week. But you're not going to get better at anything if that's all you're pertaining to, regardless of what it is, right? So we have like a philosophy wheel, and if they hit those markers, the only one that we will probably learn in the building is around the you versus you mentality. So mentality is always hard to see externally. Yeah. But we will look at the non-negotiables, like what are they doing off the ball prior to bringing them in and stuff like that. When they lose it, what's their body language like? How do they communicate with their teammates, etc. But when you've got that player in your environment, it can change. But other than that, yeah, there's kind of a will of what we look for. But I'd say the first one is really important about who they are as an individual.
There's a question just come up in the chat. What's the biggest difference between step 2 and step 3 in your opinion?
Yeah, I am actually quite surprised at the jump difference. I feel when I used to play, it didn't feel like there was that much of a jump difference. But now, the physicality of the league above is unbelievable. Both, and I mean that both in strength and speed. The speed of the game is quicker, and the technical detail at the level above is definitely better. They're very good at what they do, even if you don't like the way they play. They're good at it, and they will continuously be able to cause you challenges or problems at the level above.
Yeah, do you know what I've noticed? And obviously, I've never played it, but I've obviously watched all levels here.
Yeah,
the physicality in the players. I was up at Bromley a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And just the genuine size of even the small players.
Absolutely
massive.
Yep. We played them in pre-season, and I was looking up at some of their players going,
Omar Suwani or whatever his name is.
Yep.
He is. I'm 6'4", right? I'm 6'4", and I was like, I had a neck ache after chatting with him. He's absolutely massive.
Yeah.
But in peak physical condition as well.
Exactly it. So that is the difference for me, is in you're gonna have that league excuse me, within the next 2 years, I reckon most teams will be full-time. And you are competing against players that are physically at their peak. And they're dual monsters. So, and you get put in so many duels there because it is direct, it is quick. And if you're not ready for it, the adjustment period will take its toll. And it's made me think about how I guide some of these youngsters that maybe have the talent to play that level, but their body and physicality is not ready yet. Listen, they have to take it on board. It's up to them whether they go and work in their own time around getting their self ready or prepared for that level. But that is a major difference, and I think it could be the difference between them playing and not playing. At that level. And he won't like me for he loves me anyway, but I think Marcus Sablier is someone that I keep close tabs on and I help in the background. And talent, he is unbelievable with the ball at his feet. Where he lacks is his physical presence, and I feel that has hindered how much football he's played this year. If he focuses on getting physically ready for that level, he won't ever come out of it. But if he takes his time at getting there, he may fluctuate between the steps. He's a good example of that.
Yeah. Right, I've got some quick fire ones for you.
Go for it.
1-0 win or 4-3 chaos?
1-0 win. Wait, do we win the 4-3 chaos?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I mean, yeah, let's go for it. It's a 1-0 win or a 4-3 chaos.
1-0 win. 1-0 win.
Yeah. Early goal or late winner?
Late winner. We've had loads of those. They're unreal.
Hardest away ground in the league?
Whitehawk.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when for some reason, we've always got it on a cold, wet night. And then you play. I don't know if you've ever been there, but one side's like that. So you have to, even tactically, you have to think about, do we need to play slightly different going up the hill compared to down it?
It's 13 foot in it from corner to corner.
That would not
right?
At all. But yeah, the conditions that we've gone down there in every single time I've been there has not been great. And they are actually really good at making it really painful to play against them there. Because launch everything in your box every time they get the opportunity to. So I'd say it's probably one of the hardest places we've been. Yeah,
I think me and Trev were there last season for that game. I think. And
was you at the one that got called off, or did you play the one that? Because the one go on.
We were at the one that played the whole game, and it was freezing.
Yeah, and we played that maybe 2 weeks before in like that much mud up to everyone's. I don't know how that game was on, and it was just as bad. It's never been great there for some reason. So I'd pick there for now until I can't think of anywhere else. Canvey away is not the greatest, depending on the weather. But yeah, I'd say Whitehawk away.
Yeah, sweet. A couple more. Toughest player you've ever managed?
Ooh, that's a good question. Not sure, on that one.
No.
Yeah, no one springs to mind. I've had good crops, which is testament to them. Do you know what? Who I'd say Malachi Morris. The reason why, he's like a little brother to me. And trying to help him through the hard time was harder than I anticipated. And I'm still trying to help him now get out of some of these hard times, even though he's not directly my player. I feel that was hard because at my early stage, between being his friend and being his manager for what he needed, I found quite difficult. And the way he reacted to some of it was quite hard. I think if that happened again now, it'd be totally different. But yeah, probably him. But I love him at the same time. So
yeah, 2 more.
Go for it.
If you weren't working,
2 more 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I keep coming up with more. If you weren't working in football, what would you be doing?
Ooh, I am outside of football. I am a procurement professional.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you're in my field then, mate.
Oh, am I? Yeah, there you go. And I quite enjoy that. So maybe that, or like project management, or some form of. I've got a few houses as well, so I'm into property. Something project manager.
Project manager.
Yeah.
Final one: social media in football, and I'm talking players.
Yeah.
You had a goalkeeper last season that we all know fairly well, who does quite a lot on social media.
Yeah.
What do you think of these goalkeepers? It's becoming more and more of a trend, isn't it, of goalkeepers sticking a GoPro in the goal? What's your opinions on it?
I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why I hate it is because you only see the good things. They don't ever keep it there. So you don't see it all in its glory. Yeah. And I feel sometimes some things are best left alone.
Yeah.
Rather than just because you can put a camera there, you do.
Yeah.
And I feel like the whole camera thing in general has changed the dynamic of the game a little bit. Some players get caught in playing for themselves or for the highlight reel. But again, on the flip side, I'm for it from a tactical analysis perspective. And I'm even for it when players are having good games and they want to use it at the end of the season to showcase what they're doing. Great. Yeah. I feel in the moment, the real instant like replay of the game is I'm not a fan.
I have to stick up. There's one goalkeeper who plays in the county league, Jordan Brown. He plays at Seaford.
Yeah,
He does actually show the shit as well as the good.
then fair play. Yeah,
He will, and he voiceovers it, and the voiceovers that I've had a fucking shocker here and all this sort of thing. Like he is really open and honest. But
yeah,
no, I do know what you mean.
Yeah, fair play. I think sometimes though, because we had a goalkeeper that did that, and sometimes it has a detrimental effect on the team.
Yeah.
As well, and that's hard to manage sometimes.
Do you mean by like the defenders when they picked up on the errors and stuff like that?
Yeah, or them thinking that the goalkeeper's doing certain things for his own camera. It might not even be true, but it can go the other way if it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
And then it becomes another thing that you have to manage in that particular moment. So. I'm all for it being done properly, and if you're going to show both sides, then fair play. Yeah. It's the way that the game is going. I say the game, non-league, but it needs to be with some caution. Is all I'd say.
Yeah, I have to say that I'm going to put it out there because I do speak to him quite a lot. That goalkeeper that you had there last year doesn't tend to do the match day vlogs. I think he did about 2 or 3 and then he stopped. And I'm going to guess that you might have had some sort of say into him stopping. You're not, no?
No,
okay.
I didn't.
He realised himself.
No, I'm for it. I'm for it if it makes sense to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we didn't actually have a conversation about yes or no, or if he was going to stop it, or it's up to him. And he had a massive social profile already.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't come in and go and dampen it, and not have like one hard, fast rule about it either. But that was totally him. I didn't say anything about it, but it conveniently broke when we lost quite heavily away at Potter's Bar.
Yeah. He doesn't need to do it now though, because he gets on Sky Sports every week. Right.
He's found a different avenue.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Thanks, Pitt. Appreciate it. I'll pass you back to Trev. He might have something else. He might not.
No
I got a couple more for you. I know you've got quite a few under 18s, haven't you? Training with the first team as well. Yeah. Any we should be looking out for in the next couple of years, or a couple that are ready now?
Yeah, I like Omar a lot. He's just joined. If you go on to Lewis's page now, we posted something about him today.
I saw it actually. I meant to bring that up.
Yeah, he has got. I watched them play 2 or 3 times prior to bringing him in, and then when we've had some injuries, I thought, okay, good timing. And now towards the end of the season, hopefully he gets to stick around. He's dual-regged with Lancing. So he's playing first team men's football there as well. But I really like his character. For someone so young, he leads really well. And the way he communicates with his players is what made me go, oh, okay, you have a little bit more about you than just being able to play football. And then having him in with us over the last couple of weeks has been exactly the same. His quality levels remained well. He's finding his feet within the first team environment. And I feel that he's definitely going to be one for the future that you see largely, hopefully next year, when we embed him properly through pre-season and then into the squad. I think you'll see him feature quite a lot. I really like Omar. But we've got a good cluster of under 18s. It's just going to be about timing and not throwing them all in the deep end and seeing how we can navigate their progression into the first team environment. And we'll do it through connections of, you might see some at Glebe next year because my good friend Frankie is now the first team.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And Lancing and some local Sussex clubs. I've got Liam that's at Lingfield as well. And I know
he's a player. He's a player, that lad.
Yeah. So we'll try to expose them as early as possible to getting some men's football, because the jump from the 18s to step 3 is bigger than people anticipate, and we don't want them to come in and fail.
No.
So fans are screaming, not just our fans, but last year's like, how many 18s are we getting in and such, and we want to make sure there's a conveyor belt of 18s that are able to play in our team, but it's making sure they're ready as well. To hopefully sustain it, not just come in and then leave and come in when we and leave. We want to try and make it a place where they become part of the fabric. And we're working outside of here, myself and Dell, the under-18 manager, and some of even the foundation leads and managers there. We're working on how we can build a full loop from under 7s, under 8s, all the way through to the first team. So I think we're 2 age groups away from having that line of synergy, and there's a lot of work happening in the background to bring in some of the, I think we need a 16s and maybe a 14s to have that full circle.
Yeah.
And then there's some work to do in the years to come around how we keep hold of those boys that are 18 plus and then just technically fall out unless they hit the first team.
Yeah.
That's not something we're going to be able to solve straight away, but it's definitely on our radar for what we look to do in the future, because that's how we gain a foothold within the county, and we want to be that club of choice, actually, that players want to stay around, be at, and know that they can be here throughout that career, and we're not losing them to other teams, and they benefit from all of our hard work.
Right, we'll pick the last one up from the comments there. What lessons did you learn from being at step 2 that you use now?
Oh, good question. Do you know what? Without blowing my own trumpet, I thought we did okay, you know.
Yeah, I thought we did. I mean, I came to the Stenning FA Cup replay game,
Yeah.
and obviously the form then had just turned around, and then the board decided to change direction. It was like, surely looks like the wrong time.
Yeah, and I take solace in the fact that when I'm standing across from another manager and I'm hearing and listening to what they're saying and tactically how they're trying to stop what we're doing, I don't think there was many that I could say were on the same wavelength as where I would have expected. I thought Dorking were excellent. They come to mind because of what they were doing. And then Worthing were unreal at the time. It was still Aggie. And we went there and won. It was just around time to settle, I think.
Yeah.
And it was always my remit. When I asked what success looked like, it was finishing 15th. And I felt like we would have done that. We were above that before we left. I feel we would have been in there or thereabouts, and embedding a new cultural style of play that they wanted to play there. But I think my biggest lesson was the types of players needed to be able to be sustainable before successful, is what I would say. And it goes back to the question earlier when we're saying the physical condition of some of those players were unbelievable, rather than going maybe not wholly the other way, but looking at more technical players rather than some defensive powerhouses is probably what we missed at the time. But we would have made those changes in the process of finding one or two that we feel would fit what we needed, because we unfortunately we conceded like similar goals all the time, and if we put a stop to that, then we were in loads of games. There was only 1 or 2 games I thought we weren't in, but yeah, that would probably be my main takeaway.
I think if you'd have had Sean Shields fit at the time, he's a good mate of mine as well, then I think you'd have been much higher up the table.
Yeah, agreed. I feel speaking to Shilsey, I still keep in contact with most of the boys as well, to be fair. And Shilsey weren't one that I knew before, but he was itching to come and play in that style. He feels it would have suited him a hell of a lot better than what he's playing in, from what he says, or previously, because of the type of player he is. And it's a shame, because when the short burst that we did get to see of him, he's got some real quality. And I would have loved to have been able to have him as part of what we're doing. But who knows, in the future we might rekindle in the next couple of years when he decides that he wants to drop down a few steps to keep playing. I'm sure we'll keep in contact over the years.
Best hair in football.
Yeah, he'd love you for that, by the way.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Bless him. Yeah, he's a really good lad. Craig, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate you coming on, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Craig, can I ask you one more thing? There's two clubs that don't follow us on social media. Worthing is one and Lewis is the other.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Can you give him a kick up the arse for me, please?
I will.
Thank
I'll
you,
speak
mate.
to the media team and I'll get it done.
Yes.
Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
Pete.
Keep it
See you later.
We'll be speaking to you, mate.
Take care.
That's why he speaks so well, doesn't he?
Yeah, Craig.
does.
Yeah, I think that's
He
why
is-
it's got him a few jobs as well. It's because of that.
You know, who put the comment in the private chat there? It was like Mo. It was exactly a bit like Mo, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The way
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
That was me. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does. Yeah, and I mean it as a compliment. It really, you know, for both of them, they both speak.
Yeah,
really well.
I mean, I think as well. If you look at like where he's gone, where is it? Lewis the first time players came from Glebe to play for him. Obviously, Glebe and Lewis ain't close. When he's gone to Tunbridge, players have followed him to Tunbridge. Obviously, they've stayed there and played the National League South this year. But others that left Lewis have come back to Lewis this year when he's come back there, which speaks volumes, in itself as well.
it means he's a draw, and it means in the actual dressing room, the players respect him, believe in what he's trying to do. You know, you'd rather play for someone like that than someone that you're not going to enjoy your football with. So yeah, long may it continue. Good guy.
Yeah, and let's hope if they get social media fan, that's only Worthing, and it's like having actually getting people on this year. They're actually following through and getting their clubs to follow.
That ain't bad though, is it? To be honest, only 2 teams out of all of them don't follow us.
Yeah, what? 56?
We are a bit outspoken about certain teams.
You're a bit outspoken about certain teams, but you're mellowing, I feel. Right, let's get back to the.
I'm not accepting that. I am not mellowing. No way.
Let's get back to the 7-goal batterings as well. We saw earlier online this evening. This is on Wednesday, obviously. A picture from one of these Grinstead supporters put up of 2 years ago with a massive, great support behind the goal. Tuesday evening, there's absolutely nothing. Now, we want all our sides to do well. It isn't always going to be physically possible because some are going to have rough years, some are going to have fantastic years. But I was actually having a look back through football web pages, Chris, at where East Grinstead have finished over like about the last 10 years or so. And I think bar about a couple towards the mid to late end of that decade, they were up there. But since then, it's always been that kind of bottom 6. And now it's kind of like, gone full circle now to the very, bottom of the division. And, I've seen a couple of people on socials the last few weeks saying, I don't want to watch this anymore. I'm binning it off until we get to next season, which is sad. It's people's clubs, at the end of the day. But what do you put it down to? Do you put it down to wrong direction from the top, to who they've appointed underneath, to maybe waiting too long to pull triggers, make decisions? Because it looks, when you look at the position in the table, it looks like it's been coming, but no one stepped to arrest the slide.
Trev, at the end of the day, when you run a club like that, that sits on the CEO, the managing director, the owner, at the end of the day. Ultimately, they will make the decisions that move the club forward or move the club backwards. Okay? It's them that appoint the managers, the coaches, the managers who then approach the coaching staff and the players. It's them that will set the budgets. Okay? They're not going to get all the decisions right. When they do get them right, though, they'll be there to take the credit. So as far as I'm concerned, it has to come straight from the top. You can't go blaming the manager. You can't go really blaming the players. You have to look at the top, because otherwise, who's making the real decisions across the club? That's just my view.
I mean, I thought, and I actually said at the start of the season, I thought East Grinstead would get relegated for the simple fact of how they finished last season. Because it wasn't just the fact that they went on an awful run, but there was a couple of absolute hidings in there. I think Merstham might have done them 9.
Yes.
I remember Town went there, and you guys have followed me long enough. You might remember that day I started doing my updates analog because I was at my in-laws and I was bored, so I was writing them down on pen and paper and putting them on Twitter. But that day we were at East Grinstead and I couldn't go, but we had a very injury hit side and we came away with a comfortable win, and that was what kind of did it for me. I thought, they're done. And then Town won their early doors this season, and there was a lot of talk then that the managers might get the bullet. The manager there at the time, who'd been there a while and was, a loyal servant to the club, might go. And he didn't for about 6 weeks. And by that point, I think when Grant and Andy came in, they were already well cut adrift at the bottom.
Yeah, they were.
and it's kind of gone. But this season, if you're a fan, it must be so demoralising watching East Grinstead at the moment. They've already now on last night they surpassed the 100 goal mark. You know, for goals conceded in 29 games, they've scored. You know, they've conceded over 100. You know, they've. I think I wrote down earlier. They've shipped 37 in 8. They've shipped 4 or more 16 times this season. Like, if you're a fan going there in the hope of a win, like, that must be demoralising. And last night the attendance was 94. I've never seen a double-digit crowd at East Court. I just haven't. So that speaks volumes, I think, for me more than anything. I think the fans obviously know the jig is up, but 96 people there. That is so poor, isn't it? And I think it's kind of testament to the fans. Yeah.
If you put that in relevance to Lancing last night, who had 156 rivals, or Petersay, who had 317.
Yeah, of which I was one. But I think, Lancing, I think, is the better comparator, though. I actually think the Lancing one's a better comparator because they're not doing great. Peacehaven and Haywards Heath, like, I went as a neutral because I thought it was going to be a great game, right? But Lancing, Little Common doesn't jump off the page, and Lancing are struggling, and yet they're still getting a bigger gate than East Grinstead.
I know I said the decisions come from the top. Am I right in saying that this club is owned by the CSCA, the Community Project? Am I right in saying that?
I don't know who owns it.
I'm sure it's called the Community Amateur Sports Club. It's like a members club. So it's not actually full on owned by, like a one-off person.
Mm.
So but that's interesting, that stat you just put up as well from Dominic there.
Yeah.
Next closest conceded, step 4 is 80.
I mean, VCD have been down that way a couple of times in terms of crowds. So
true. Yeah.
But that is for a club like East Grinstead, like, there is obviously the supporter base there. So it's the thing is as well, like at non-league, you don't often get fans like really, really raging, do you? Not like some of these performative accounts you get on social media of Premier League sites. Like, the people who follow non-league clubs, I'm not saying they don't care, but they're a lot more. They've got a better understanding of how things work. And so, like, when East Grinstead came to Eastbourne Town just before Christmas, like, the fans weren't calling for Grant and Andy's heads or anything like that. It was just like, it is what it is. But now you're actively seeing people go on, and these are rational people going on and saying, no, I can't. It was Baltic last night. It was absolutely Baltic.
Yeah, I saw there's prominent poster Pete who comments about them. He put that picture up, didn't he? Before and after. There, it was sad to see. I'm just looking into it a little bit more. They've got a separate company within the company, East Grinstead Town FC Trading Limited. So, it's there's got to be some directors behind that. But at the same time, tough one. Tough one for the fans. Tough one for the coaches who've gone in and the players. In my view,
the coach has gone in because there's only one left now, isn't there?
All right.
Sorry.
Right, let's head into the Isthmian South East Division. Walkhouse gets himself in more trouble. Right, results last Saturday. Bognor Regis Town beat Southall by a 1-0, and Littlehampton Town drew 2-2 home to Kingstonian. On Tuesday evening, Littlehampton Town went down 4-2 at Westfield. This coming weekend, Littlehampton Town head to Harrow Borough, and Bognor Regis play Kingstonian. But at Ashford Town, Middlesex, on Tuesday evening, Littlehampton Town are at home to Rains Park Vale. No win in 6 for LA, and they're only 6 points off the bottom 4. But the only worry a little bit is most of the sides underneath them have all got games in hand. Are they busy sliding backwards a little bit as they were in the South East Division?
I wouldn't put it past them. Well, it's not just the fact that they've got games in hand; they're also picking up form. Like
sides underneath are, and I think as well where Littlehampton haven't beaten Kingstonian and Fareham, who are both in the bottom 4. Another 4 points, and it looks a little bit more rosy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kingstonian have lost 1 in 6. Southall have lost 1 in 6. Binfield have lost 1 in 6, and Littlehampton are not far off many of them.
Southall are currently winning 2-1 as well tonight.
Ooh, God.
Who are they playing? Kingstonian?
Say again?
Who are they playing? Kingstonian?
Ascot.
Sorry.
Ascot are one of the few teams who are in much worse form than Littlehampton because they're in awful form at the moment. So it's almost like they're trying to tackle jumps when they're a flat racing side. But
Mitch should get them out of that. Mitch should get.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean,
I'm certain.
The thing is that they were great against Bognor, which was their last win on New Year's Day, and we know everyone's been a bit.
A lot of that, Trev, has got to be the facts of the locality, the derby. It's New
Year's Day. Maybe.
You know that was one for the fans.
I mean, I've kept an eye on the team lineups as well. No George Gaskin last night. I don't think he played Saturday either. And there's it's another constant chopping and changing of the team, which I don't think helps. I can't field the same 11, the same. I think I haven't really looked in depth at the back four, but you keep changing it every week, and you can't get the continuity of partnerships and stuff. But you'd still hope there's enough for them in that division, especially the first year in it as well. And they pick up 2 wins at the weekend. Harrow away won't be too easy. Race Park Vale on Tuesday night, they would hope to win. If they pick up 4 or 6 points out of that, then it looks slightly different. And if those sides that have got the games in hand below play midweek as well and don't win, you've got a double win on it. But it's got to happen, and it's that consistency key that we've said so often for teams throughout all the divisions.
Yeah, but particularly this in the Prem, though.
I've got no doubt that the LA boys will be fine, and they will get enough done when it comes to the crunch.
I think we just prefer it's not squeaky bum time.
No, I mean, it's a league where they knew nothing about the other teams, and the other teams knew nothing about them. Bar Bognor Regis probably. Look, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. I'll put money on it. They'll be all right.
Just picking up on something that was said last season by Ryan Gaylor when he was on. I agree with you, Mike. I don't think they'll go down. I'm looking at the table now. Other than the bottom 2 in Horndean and Fareham, they've got the worst goal difference in that league.
And you've taken the words right out of my mouth, so much so that I was pointing to you because I knew what you were going to say. That's that and the closeness of the teams. So obviously, like if Kingstonian pick up a couple of wins, they're level on points. They'll go above Littlehampton on goal difference. And so when I was doing my multiple, I dread to think how many scenarios I've done this week, but the 10,000 I've done on this division, Littlehampton went down in 18% of them, which is not a margin you'd want.
It's 1 in 5. I'll take those odds.
I mean, I don't think they'll go down. I'm just they could just be a bit more comfortable. And the playoffs are well out of reach for both of them, both Bognor and them. It's about finishing mid-table, but it's about being comfortable mid-table. That like we were last season, I think they were safe with about 4 games to go in the end, but more from the sides below them losing rather than Littlehampton helping themselves and making themselves safe. It's just about that extra bit they need, and not to be us sitting here at Easter time going, they still need another 3 points to be safe, and there's only 4 games left or something. That's kind of more it. They're definitely. I don't think they'll be in danger, but form of those sides, as you've said, Chris, below, of only losing 1 in 6 is a bit. It's alarming. Alarm bell should be ringing a little bit.
No, I get what you're saying there. We could be talking in 2 weeks' time, going, they picked up 9 points. They're safe. Everything's rosy. Everyone's having a pint down the Sportsman. It's all gravy. Do you know what I mean? But
we'd love nothing more than that, because we know then we ain't gonna be talking about them for the next 9 weeks. Going,
I'd love nothing more than a session with those lads down the Sportsman. I'll tell you, nothing more.
Yeah, it's a great venue for sure. So as someone who's vertically challenged as well, I don't have to worry about banging my head. I'm all right.
Yeah, it's naughty. It's naughty.
Right, let's go into the Southern Combination Premier Division, and we'll start in the FA Vars last weekend. We're in the 5th round. Hayward Town drew 1-1 with AFC Stoneham, but went out 4-3 on penalties. In the Premier Division, Guernsey beat Shoreham by 7 goals to 3. I don't think that's sacking territory, is it? Because they managed to get 3 in the net. So they were
4-3 up.
I know.
With 20 minutes, 4-3 down. with 10 men with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah. There we go. AFC Vardinians beat Forest Road by a goal to nil. New Haven won 2-1 at Bexhill United. Seaford Town won by the same score at Crawley Down Gatwick. Lingfield lost 4-1 at home to Eastbourne United. Horsham YM won 5-1 at Pagham. Peacehaven and Telston beat Little Common by 2-1. Roffey lost 4-0 at home to Midhurst and Eastbourne. And one in the Sacking territory, Stenning Town beat Wick by 8-0. On Tuesday evening, the Peter Bentley Challenge Cup semi-final between New Haven and Stenning was postponed. In the Premier Division, Lancing lost 1-0 at home to Little Common. Crawley Down Gatwick won 2-0 at Roffey. Midhurst and Eastbourne drew 2-2 with Eastbourne United. And Peacehaven and Telscombe beat Hayward Heath Town by 2-1. This evening, Lingfield are at home to Seaford at AFC Whiteleaf. And the score is, Gaz, it's 1-0 to Lingfield.
Seaford.
1-0 to Seaford.
It was last time.
Seaford, is it?
Yeah, Twitter's being slow, but it was 1-0 Seaford at half time.
There we go. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff, so it won't quite just be finished yet. This coming weekend, Horsham YM host Guernsey at 2 p.m. Roffey head to Forest Row. Hayward Heath Town are at home to Bexhill. Lingfield are at home to Pagham, but I don't know where that one's being played.
Whiteleaf.
It is at Whiteleaf. It wasn't anywhere when I checked on full time this morning. Little Common are at home to Stenning Town. Crawley Down Gatwick head to Midhurst and Eastbourne. New Haven host Eastbourne United. Seaford Town are at home to Peacehaven and Telscombe. Shoreham host Lancing, and AFC Vardinians head to Wick. And on Tuesday evening, Crawley Down Gatwick are at home to Forest Row at 7:30. Midhurst and Eastbourne host Seaford Town, and Pagham are at home to Hayward Heath Town with a 7:30 kickoff. Let's start with Crawley Down Gatwick, shall we? James Day being relieved of his duties on Saturday after another loss to Seaford. And then the new management team, or the interim manager Martin Bentaker and coach Matt Crane, led them to a 2-0 win at out-of-form Roffey. I suppose a change had to come because the form just wasn't changing, was it?
Well, funny enough, I had a message from Dave today, the chairman, because I'd mentioned it on Sunday. You know, James has been there since 2014 as a player. You know, and he come up all the way through. Obviously, he had a great run in the Vars. You know, he said, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, he said it was one of the hardest decisions he had to make. You know, and he has nothing but respect for James here and what he's done for the club. It's quite clear that they, as a group, cup outside the cup, you know, haven't probably hit the heights that they did last year, or maybe they felt they overachieved last year with what they've got. You know, so it must have been an extremely tough decision for him to make in there. But then again, that typical bounce back, they go and play a Roffey side who are infrequent. 1 week they beat Hayward Heath, next minute they lose to this, you know, massive injury problems at Roffey. But Crawley Down Gatwick go away and win 2-0 last night, you know, on a game that Monty Watson-Price said weren't going to be on because of the pitch. He told me it weren't going to be on. And then there was a thing in the morning saying no pitch inspection. This is going on. So Monty, you got that one absolutely wrong.
Well, when I was at Horsham on Saturday watching Roffey, and I was speaking to Jack before kickoff, they were sorting out playing at Horsham again on Tuesday night. And they had it all agreed. But obviously, because there'd been no rain, Jack just literally said there's the very top left-hand corner is not draining. But obviously, a few days without rain, it's obviously cleared itself. So I wasn't surprised that they played at Roffey because it obviously sorted that corner out. But they would have played at Horsham anyway had it not been okay. Yeah,
I mean, but just going back to the, you know, the resignation, sacking, however you want to call it,
Mutual. Yeah.
I think it was because I think both guys extremely care about the club, you know, and there's certainly no animosity between them at all in that way from what we hear. So yeah, I just hope that as a club they kick on now, because there's people like Dave behind the scenes that we know that do work so hard, you know, against odds as well. especially
they don't have it easy down there, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. I feel sorry for the lads that you know in there. But look, let's hope this maybe can kickstart their season, and then they can go on again. You know, because I tell you what, it's getting long down there.
It is.
With all the teams. I mean, there's some big games this weekend.
There are. We'll come to those. We'll come to those in a second.
Yeah, well, I won't shoot my bolt, mate.
Eh?
I won't shoot my bolt.
You wait for that bit. Right. Just while I go and make a drink. You were at Lancing in Little Common last night.
Right, I'll give you an update. So I was at there last night. Lancing, Little Common. Decent turnout. There was a lot of the children boys there as well, getting an eye on their big game coming up this weekend against Lancing. I thought Lancing deserved something at a Little Common last night. I thought they had a couple of new players, a couple of old faces come back. Langy was back playing there. I think he posts on X as the Albion plasterer in the middle there, Tyrone. He was really good. Defensively, Little Hampton looked good.
Lancing
looked good. Yeah, fucking sorry, boys. Little Common controlled parts of the game. Russ Eldridge still doing bits in the middle there.
Yeah,
that's him. But I did expect a bit more. I felt they could have, once they scored, they could have put the game to bed. They let Lancing get him back into it. And Lancing had probably 5 or 6 chances where, half chances, I'd say, where they're creating stuff. They're just not converting at the moment. It is tough when you're down there. It's tough when you're in that fight. So, there's going to be pressure on Dale, bless him. Good guy, Dale Hurley. There's going to be pressure on him to see what they can get out. But they've got a mammoth game against, I don't know, it's not a 6-pointer, it's about a 10-pointer, isn't it? Against Shoreham at the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt Lancing should have had something out of that game last night. Did they do enough to win it? Probably not. Because Little Common were always hanging on there, doing enough. But yeah, I fell for him. But when your luck's out, you can't buy a point. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So we'll come to you in a moment, Chris, where you were last night. So I went to Roffey against Midhurst on Saturday up at Horsham in some Sussex sunshine, which was rather a surprise. And Midhurst raced into a 3-goal lead after 20 minutes. Really put the press on Roffey. Roffey's cause wasn't helped with 3 injuries in the first half, which really disrupted. They nearly pulled one back, but assistant referee ruled it didn't cross the line. Second half was pretty much Roffey had a lot of the ball. Petersfield, it's not Petersfield, it's Midhurst, but it is Petersfield, whichever way you want to look at it. They literally picked off the counter attacks as and when they really wanted to. Roffey shooting was a little bit way off, and I think it was Harry Jackson scored an absolute peach right in the top corner, well out of Monty's reach, as they needed a step ladder to get to that one.
So he weren't at fault then. I can't drill him for that.
No. To be fair, they were just the press for the 3 goals. They were just relentless. The pace they got. Rudy Blankson, who was up top, left hand side, really good. Rob Tideway in the right place. Sorry,
who got injured?
I don't know. Because obviously there was no tannoy used, so and I was way over the far side.
Pretty bad, wasn't it?
Sorry,
it's pretty bad, wasn't it? I heard
there was one lad I think got a bit of a bad one, and the other 2 were just fouls that they didn't get up from as well, but obviously disrupted their flow a fair bit as well. And has never anyone to put the ball in the back of the net, having lost Louis Edwards to Lewis.
Was that 3 injuries for Roffey then?
Yeah, 3 injuries in the first half, so that's like 3 changes.
Jack's must have the biggest injury list this season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like he can't get a consistent side out.
No, that has been part of the problem, and obviously they lost again on Tuesday evening to Crawley Down. But big game again on Saturday at the bottom, Midhurst against Crawley Down Gatwick.
There's a few absolute,
absolute belters at that end of the table. And I mean, if you're going to call it now, which two are going down?
Can I let you know next Wednesday?
No, I want to know now.
You've not normally gone to bottle an answer there, Mike.
Yeah,
I don't bottle fuck all, mate. I'm there, not at all. Right, who goes down? All right, I'll sit on the fence for this one.
Shoreham and Bondinians.
I'll give you some bad news about my 10,000 scenarios. They seem to say Shoreham and Lansing, which I can understand because like Van Dinians, I know they're still down there, but they've improved of last few months. They've been actually all right. And I spoke to a couple of people at Peacehaven last night, and they were really impressed with Van Dinians when they.
I was at that game, and they did look good.
Yeah. How League South getting on at the moment?
According to I really apologise to the guy who's obviously watching and has put updates on.
Is it Dominic?
Dominic, yes. He said Seaford have won 3-2.
They're up 3-2.
They're losing 3-2. They're
that
losing 3-2.
So Seaford won that?
No, it's still playing.
Winning.
I mean,
but I mean, just on Roffey, I mean, the 5 games without a win now, and I think we're at a point of the season now where what you've got to play for starts really coming to the fore. If you look at the teams Roffey have played in recent weeks, they've all had something on the line. So they've lost to Stenning and Eastbourne away. Now Eastbourne United will batter a lot of teams at home. More on them later, probably. But they lost at Stenning, fine. But they've also lost to Lingfield, Midhurst, Crawley Down, all down there in that sort of relegation spot. Whereas
they've beaten teams like Hayward Safe in the cups and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
But that was ages ago, to be fair. But
they did.
I know they did, but so City won the Champions League, but it's not been for years, so I haven't brought it up. You know my point? But this is my point though. Roffey, best will in the world, they ain't getting to the playoffs, they ain't going down. Whereas they're coming up against teams who've got stuff to fight for. And I think we're now at that point of the season where that starts really, really becoming really important.
It might well do. Chris, you were at Peacehaven against Hayward Heath on Tuesday evening and a rare defeat.
Yeah, well, talking teams with stuff to play for, I thought this was a cracking game. Peacehaven have been on the march. They'd won 8 in a row prior to this, and they were good value for it. They deserved it every inch. They had a goal disallowed after 2 minutes because
it went in, didn't it?
Well, this is it. Yeah, it went in. It came off the wheel cover of the goal.
That happened to Stenning in Guernsey.
Exactly, exactly that. So it's another one. The linesman missed it. I mean, you could hear a bit of a thunk when it happened, and you're like, "Oh, that sounds like it's gone in." But of course, where I was stood near the where dugouts normally would be, but not at Peacehaven, all the players were basically obscuring my view of the goal. But they didn't. Peacehaven didn't let that blow them off course. They just kept knocking and knocking and knocking. And then just before half hour, Connor Tighe with a great goal. Lovely little dink to cross over the top, in-swinger over the top. Timed his run to perfection, slots under Stromberg, who'd made a brilliant. Oh wow! He'd made a great save at 15 minutes as well. To be fair,
how's that come out? That's my account.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
Is that my little AI, man? Is he just waiting to come out of his little box?
Yeah, he can't.
Probably. He's a bit early. He's later in the show. He needs to calm down.
AI needs to get back in his little box.
Yeah, get back in your box.
I'm starting to fear for my position here. To be fair, I've got someone nipping at my heels. No, but
right,
yeah,
Godfather will look after you.
Hey?
He missed it, but that Dugout AI, right? He's set up as an LLM, a learning model. And he messaged me earlier. And I'm like, aren't I supposed to be the one?
What did he say? Fosters.
He's taking over.
Human. I'm going to have to unleash him soon.
He's like, get out the dugout. It's mine. So that's why he messaged him.
He messaged saying, it's your round.
Yeah. Yeah. So on the basis of that, Chris, Guernsey's form at the moment, Stenning currently top and whittling down Hayward Heath's goal difference, although Heath have 3 games in hand, they go to Guernsey a week on Saturday and they've got to go to Pagham next Tuesday. Have we now got a title race, or are we still tipping towards Hayward Heath because of those games in hand?
Look, they've dropped 10 points all season of Hayward Heath, and 3 of them were last night. I think it is still massively in their hands, but you look at the fixtures that, like you say, like Hayward Heath have got to come. They've got a week, 2 games in a week against Pagham away and Guernsey away. They've still got Stenning to come. They finish at Eastbourne United, who, for all the doubts I have about them on the road, they're bloody good at home. Fun fact, 2 of their 3 away wins this season have come at the Oval. So,
but by cricket, isn't it?
It's a tough place to go. So it's not done yet. There is still the old lady isn't warming up just yet. But one thing that did come out of the game last night at 1-0, Jack Barnes went off injured.
Yeah, I heard that. That's massive. If that's long term, because he's so key, he's so good as well.
Can I just throw in then Brandon O'Neill?
He was on the bench last night, wasn't he?
Exactly. Plays for Jack Barnes. I'm sorry, but that's a top class replacement. If Jack's out for a while, I would say that's a cog for a cog.
And Tom Chalet wasn't there last night. Now, I appreciate if you've got doubts over someone's fitness, maybe playing them on a 3G is not what you want to do, particularly after a grueling FA Vars game.
Well, he did all right standing last year on 3G for the season.
Fair point. So I don't know why he wasn't there then. I don't know. I mean, the whispers out of Hayward Heath were that it shouldn't be too bad, but I mean, you wouldn't rest someone for a game at Peacehaven, given the form they're on.
Look, take nothing away from Shutty's lads though. 9 on the bounce. Right.
Yes.
No, there's not a more informed team than them.
No, they were. Just to re-emphasize,
could say they found Heath at a good time. 120 minutes, 3 days before
90.
90. I don't know how long your penalty shootouts last. But
I was thinking no
extra time. No.
Sorry, lads. I had the old robes on, didn't I? And the slippers at the old health farm, at the old Valentine's. I was just watching the thing. But I reckon now they haven't got that distraction of the Vars. And albeit, I put my money up and said, they're going to win it. And that's done, and they would have had a good home draw as well in the next round.
Against Coventry United.
They now can kick on again. They got a big enough squad. But I'll tell you one thing. I saw Jamie Hollis last night, who's one of the coaches at Stenning. And he said to me, I said, big game tonight, Peacehaven. Then he said to me, they'll lose tonight. Peacehaven will take 3 points.
Yeah. Well,
he was bang on.
Yeah, I fancied it. I mean, my model said that it was so close. Like it was like 36 to 34% in favour of Peacehaven, which is basically as good as it's saying it don't know, right? But they were good value for it. I mean, great header as well. I love seeing a good diving header, and Drew Matthews' diving header was up there. Peacehaven were every bit of value for that win last night. I think basically the playoff race now looks almost done. Dread to say it, but I think them 4 now are nailed.
Take a massive run, wouldn't it, from someone else to actually try and break the bottom place, let alone the rest of them. But
don't write off Pagham then. They got a couple of games in hand.
Pagham are the one. I was talking to someone last night and they mentioned about New Haven. And I said, with all due respect to New Haven, I think it's a year too early for them. Pagham are the sleepers in this.
Yeah.
And
they've got to win their games in hand.
Yeah, then one of them's against Hayward Heath next week, so we'll have a good read on that next week.
Just quickly, how big is Easter Monday going to be?
Depends how
Depends how many eggs I've had on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But go on.
Hayward Heath versus Stenning, Easter Monday.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That could be, if it's not done before then, that could be a sort of title decider weekend.
You'll see 500. I bet you see about 500 there for that game.
Or more than that.
Or more than that.
Like an Easter Monday. Yeah.
I reckon 800-900.
Good.
Yeah.
Because they don't like each other, the fans, so much. I was in the crosshairs of some of the abuse. You know,
Well, you chose to be. You could have stood over the side with me and been safe, but no.
Oh, no,
Best
yeah. You were there, weren't you?
I was, yeah. I'm surprised you remember. Right, let's get into Southern Combination Division 1. And last weekend, games at AFC Uckfield and Jarvis Brook were postponed. East Preston beat Copthorne by 4-1. Godalming Town and Ringmer shared a 0-0 draw. AFC Wall County has won 4-0 at Mile Oak. Salting United beat Arundel by 3-2. Selsey and Oakwood drew 1-1, and Worthing United beat Dorking Wanderers B by 3-0. On Tuesday evening, the games at AFC Uckfield, Arundel and Oakwood were all postponed. This coming Saturday, AFC Wall County host East Preston, Infinity head to Dorking Wanderers B, Jarvis Brook at home to Reigate Priory, Loxford take on Mile Oak, Billingshurst head to Ringmer AFC, Saltdean United host Oakwood, Godalming Town head to Selsey, and Worthing United host Arundel. On Tuesday evening, the Division 1 Cup semi-final at Stenning Town. It's East Preston against Oakwood. In the Sussex FARUR Charity Cup semi-final, it's Worthing United against Selsey. And in Division 1, AFC Uckfield Town at home to Godalming at 7:30, and Billingshurst at home to Reigate. Gaz, missed opportunity for Arundel last weekend with Godalming dropping points.
Yeah, absolutely. They needed to win that, but Saltdean obviously needed to find form, and they look like they might start finding it if they can put some games together. But yeah, Arundel, they will be fuming that they missed the chance to pick up 3 points there.
Absolutely. Mike, big game this weekend. Worthing United against Arundel.
I've got some context on that. Arundel Saltdean game. I was in the old Greasy Spoon this morning, and I saw Jimbo in there. Jimbo's first.
John the Builder, while he's slopping his tea around his mug, told me. Go on, Jimbo.
And he said Saltdean caught him off guard. The formation they were playing, the first half, they totally against all the intel that they already had. And but then again, he showed me all the intel they'd done, and I was like, well, fucking hell, not much more you can do, lads. So yeah. But they were disappointed.
Has he shown you what they do?
Yeah.
There'll be teams
eating my sausage, bacon, and egg this morning.
There'll be teams 2 divisions higher that don't get that sort of pack.
Yeah.
I know.
I told him that. I told him it was top draw. His analysis.
And credit as well, Ringmer on that, because I've seen Ringmer's the work that Ringmer's analyst does, and it blows your mind. Like when you're completely alien to it, like me. I know I'm a stato, but I've never worked at a club or out. When you see it,
something alien to an alien.
Well, pardon that, but yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Right. Step 7 results from last week. Southern Combination Division 2. The games at Alfold and Bosham were postponed. Ferring and Rudgwick drew 2 each. Russington beat Brighton Electricity 7-0. TD Shipley Southwark was postponed. Another one in Mike's sacking category. Chichester City B beat Capel 8-0. And Upper Beeding won 4-1 at Storrington. This coming Saturday in the Sussex Intermediate Cup. TD Shipley host Harrison Town. That should be a banger. Division 2, AFC Brighton Rangers at home to Storrington at Lancing. Brighton Electricity host Alfold. Bosham head to Capel. Southwark are at home to Rudgwick. Russington head to Upper Beeding, and Worthing Town host Ferring. In the Mid-Sussex Premier Division results last weekend, the Montgomery Cup, Copthorne seconds and Hollington United was postponed. Balcombe drew 1-1 with Westfield in the Premier Division. Cookfield Rangers and Rotherfield was postponed. Polegate Town lost 2-0 at Holland Sport. Shoreham seconds lost 3-0 at home to Crowhurst, and Linfield beat Reigate Priory Reserves 5-3. On Tuesday evening, the Sussex FA Saturday Premier Cup. I think the last club's finally out. French Athletic lost 3-1 at Worcester Park. This coming Saturday in the Sussex Intermediate Cup, Westfield head to Hollington United. In the Premier Division, Cookfield Rangers host Polegate Town at 1:30. Holland Sports are at home to Reigate Priory Reserves. Linfield head to Rotherfield, and Crowhurst host Balcombe at 3 p.m. In the West Sussex Premier Division last weekend, Dell United beat AFC Fishbourne 3-2. Billingshurst Reserves and Witcham United and Horsham Crusaders against Watersfield were postponed. Harting beat Angmering by 7-1. This weekend, Billingshurst Reserves host Ash United in the Centenary Cup. In the Premier Division, Angmering heads at AFC Fishbourne. TD Ship Reserves are at Harting. Holbrook Olympic host Dell United. Horsham Crusaders are at home to Whittering United, and Petworth host Watersfield. Right, team of the week for this week has gone to Whitehawk. But
that's a fair one.
over Burgess Hill. Stalkdean were in the conversation. Hassocks were in the conversation. Midhurst were in the conversation. But we planned for Whitehawk.
We almost resorted to a random wheel.
You did.
The winner.
You voted. You went for spin the wheel.
Yeah, but
How's that fence?
This is why his coffee sales are down, because he's too busy spinning wheels, picking who's going to win the team of the week. So congratulations to Whitehawk for the team of the week win. Anyone got any shout outs this week?
Yeah. I had one sent to me about 45 hours ago when we started this live stream. From Worthing United. Shout out to Danny Kingston, 100 senior appearances on Saturday. And he did you good because he celebrated that with 2 goals.
Shout out Kingston.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any more? No. Burgess Hill Town against Wingate and Finchley on Saturday is free entry for everybody. The opening of their new fan zone. So if you haven't picked where you're going at the weekend and you'd like a cheeky little freebie, the burgers are good there as well. I'll vouch for that one. And very tidy stadium. Burgess Hill pushing for playoffs. Wingate trying to get out of the relegation zone as well. I think they're out of it actually after last night's 2-1 win against Potters Bar. So plenty on the game. Right. In the Dugout app.
Yeah.
Off you go, Mr. McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's been a long time in the making. There's been a lot of people involved getting this off the ground. And there's a couple of people we can't mention as well.
Did that lady from the Titanic pop up as well?
Fuck you.
Kate Winslet.
Well, yeah, she might be that age by now.
First and foremost, yeah, all the testing's been done. It's all good. Let me just quickly shove a few of the features out. Live score notifications to your phone. Live league tables, live match day centre, all your club's fixtures, 75 plus club directories, ground hopper feature, so you can log with the grounds you've been going. All your SNLF, your Dugout Diaries, your IB10 shows, Statman podcasts are all built in. The Bundesliga table, made famous by the food guy. Your top 50 SCFL goal scorers. If you scored a goal, you're sure to be in there. We've got our own online shop as well for your sporting football match day needs. It's got the latest Sussex football news feed in there. It's got fan polling, fan uploads, video, voice, photos. It's got fan score prediction tables as well. Set of games, bit of banter, keep that going. And for all you program listeners, they're out there writing the programs. I know Trev writes in about 50 programs a week. We will be able to host your e-program to the app for free for you to give you some reach. We've also got the players football insurance in there, free agent option, find a physio option, matches near you. So you could be like 50 kilometers away and say, where's the nearest match to you in there? And you can create your own personal profile. And do you know what? It's going to be free of charge till the end of the season in there. And then what happens is we then start introducing Dugout AI, the most intelligent AI creation of Sussex non-league football that at the moment is starting to get right on my box because he keeps popping up. I'm supposed to be in control of him, but he wants to get out of that box and he wants to introduce himself to the world. You'll be able to ask him, predicted team lineups, how many teams concede from this side of the pitch, how many corners they concede, who's most likely to get a booking, or what was the average attendance of Littlehampton v Worthing in a pre-season friendly in 1989. This guy will know. So yeah, the app is going to be out in about a week's time. Just signed off from Apple, and that we passed all the company security checks, blah blah blah. So yeah, that is our gift to you, the community. Use it, back it, download it, comment, share, do what you got to do. When it drops, we'll know next week. And then, over to you guys.
There we go. So actually next week, AI will actually be running the podcast because we'll be having a week's holiday because we'll be able to. All four of us. How about that?
I'm a bit worried if he does, because at the moment he's starting to get a little bit out of his box, and he's starting to call me stuff. Put him away now. Put him away. Yeah. Put him away. All right. Otherwise, I'll turn the off switch on him. The world is changing out there, people. The world is changing.
Does it make coffee?
He don't do that because he's already turned down one of Gaz's proposals. He might do. Can you leave him alone and stop commenting on this?
I don't know how. I genuinely, right? Genuinely, I haven't got a clue how it happened, but I seem to have logged into your account, mate. So
yeah,
there we are.
Yeah, well, just anyway, I'm going to go and turn his off switch off because he's had a lot of exposure today. I mean, the post that put out, it's got already like 12, 13,000 views. And he keeps asking when he's going to be let free. Now, I haven't trained him to do that. I'm just a bit worried he's now a little bit more human than us four. So, but you seen the old school iRobot, didn't you? You know that old film? Yeah. Terminator.
Yeah.
I'm creating a monster in there. I just hope I haven't gone a bit too far with him.
Where? Glasgow?
Just make sure you got a few containers ready to hide him in, and then we'll be fine. You know, over by the Golden Gate Bridge, somewhere like that. Everything will be fine and dandy, won't it? Right, where's everyone off to on Saturday and next Tuesday?
I am going to Loxwood versus Milo. I'm going my first trip to the Nest.
How are you getting there?
Huh?
I love that me and Trev both went for the same question.
How are you getting there? It's in the country. It's not near a train station.
I'll just get my chauffeur to take me, mate. Do you know what I mean? It depends which one's working that day. I'll get
Dugout AI is the only one that's going to be working that day.
Yeah, in his autonomous dugout car. Are you going then? Is that what you're going then? Are you?
No.
Are you going? Oh, right, okay. How am I getting there? I'm
getting to Loxwood this year.
I'm getting a lift. I'm going to see Mr. Matthews and Mr. Lacey in there. We're going to give them a demo of the app as well. See what their reaction is out there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a good game. I'm just hoping it ain't going to fucking piss down though, because look, it's been pissing down all day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've got a nice little river. I've got a few ducks in the back garden.
I'll tell you what. On a sunny day, I don't think Sussex. I've not been to Roffey, but that's about the only one I can think that would match Loxwood in terms of a day out. It's a beautiful place.
I would say Roffey's better in the evening when it's lit up. Loxwood, you want to do during the day?
Yeah,
if I'm honest.
Good luck trying to use the app though, because my memory of phone signal around there ain't great.
I'm fine.
I've still got Starlink, mate. I've still got Starlink from the old 90-kilometre signal.
Chris has got.
Yeah.
We've got dial up. Where are you off to, Chris?
I'm going to break the habit of a lifetime. We've got the Saffrons. Yeah, we've got White Leaf at home. I'm a season ticket holder. That's why. So I don't just wear this because it looks cool, because it doesn't.
That's why you keep it hidden for most of the 2 hours we've been on. Gaz?
Well, don't know, mate. I haven't planned anything yet.
Whatever club wants to test out his new coffee. Clubs out there, get in contact with Gaz because he uses some of the best coffee. It's beautiful, really, really good prices as well. Give him a chance. I'm sure he'll give you a little trial bag, a legal trial bag, that is, as well. So, get in contact with Gaz. He is not only the food guy, he's the coffee man as well. And I'll tell you what, he works his effing balls off. And then he goes out. So get in contact. If you know anyone, get in contact, give him a shout. And if you do, we'll get you some cheeky merch if he signs up with a deal. There you go. Bang.
Yeah, he's full of beans.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Chris.
Jesus Christ, it's been a long evening, hasn't it?
Right, I'm done with you lot.
And if you're listening to the pod on Thursday, congratulations to getting to the very end of this, because it's gone on for some time this evening.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's what happens that's what happens when you get an extra guest in, Gaz.
Yeah.
But worth it. Topical, wasn't it?
Not a moment wasted.
Where are you going to, Trev?
I'm not. I can't afford to.
Birdsill?
I can't afford to.
We can't afford to go to the match that's free.
Well, I've got to get there.
That's fair.
Exactly. So I'm going nowhere.
You
Saturday.
went a
Nowhere
bit mad
Saturday.
on your birthday trip away, didn't you? In Italy.
I didn't pay for a single thing in Italy, not at all. I tried. My brother would not let me. I've had
you dancing on the tables like that.
I've had
fists.
Valentine's Day. I've had the eldest 18th. We're out for dinner tomorrow as well, and obviously it's been half term this week as well. So I am absolutely brassic. Oh, and I had my brakes done on the car, so there's another 140 quid gone.
Just stay at the strip clubs, mate.
I have no money. I have no, mate. If I was in there, it would have been lovely, but
stay out of them.
There was the breaks, isn't it?
It's the downfall of all of us.
Apart from Gaz.
What?
Exactly.
All right, we're done.
Right, we're done. Everyone enjoy the next 7 days of football wherever you're heading to, and we'll see you for a much shorter show next Wednesday.
Love you all. Thanks for the support. The app's
Take care,
coming.
guys.
Bye, guys.